Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Elmhurst College and Langhorst Field. Kevin Juday joined by Tony Minestra as we are set to bring you Elmhurst College football. The Blue Jays welcome Millikin University to Langhorst Field today. Tony, both these teams coming in identical records, struggling out of the gate so far this year with 1-5 marks.
Well, a desperate team coming up from Decatur, but on our sidelines as well, Kevin, a 1-5 team. Very disappointing for the Blue Jays coming off a playoff appearance last year. Joe Adam in his first year as head coach still trying to find his way here, try to break through in the conference season.
We knew the Blue Jays were going to have some moments at times to struggle this year, losing all the seniors that they had last year. Interesting matchups, though. These contests against Millikin, Tony, have come down to the wire in the past. The last 7 games decided by 7 points or less, and most recently, they've been shootouts. The winning team scoring over 40. Last year, down to the wire in overtime, the Blue Jays nicked the Big Blue 45-42, if not for a late turnover. Elmhurst may have been talking about that playoff appearance.
Unbelievable game. It came off the heels of the Wheaton game last year. Big victory here at Langhorst Field. One that really propelled the Jays through the rest of the season. But that game in Decatur, you're right, Kevin. 45-42, a late fumble on the 2-yard line with the Big Blue going in, saved the season for the Blue Jays.
It was in overtime. Elmhurst had taken the lead on a David Thomas field goal. Millikin had a chance to win it, though, in overtime. And like you said, I think it was Marvin Carr got his helmet on the ball, popped it loose. Jamal Lane recovered, ended the game, and the Blue Jays rattled off of some more victories in a row and found themselves in the NCAA playoffs and a conference championship. We are set to go here from Langhorst Field as Brett Baer will put it on the tee to get things started.
We'll get a first look at the two strengths of either of these respective programs. Right now, the Blue Jay defense has been carrying the load so far this season.
End over end kick sails into the end zone where it will be caught by D'Angelo Williams, and he will just take a knee for the touchback.
4 starters return, Kevin, on the offensive line for the Millikin Big Blue. They feature 3 seniors, a senior at tight end, and a great running back. Sean Dunning is 6 foot 215, a junior. He's racked up 843 yards rushing, 6.2 a carry, and 15 touchdowns.
Dunning had himself a game last week. 28 carries, 254 yards, and 3 touchdowns in a losing effort against Augustana. Quarterback for the Big Blue is Nick Pippin, a freshman, wearing number 16, works out of the gun. Dunning joins him in the backfield. 3 receivers, slot to the near side. Pippin, play action, rolls to his right. He's got his man over the middle, sheds a tackler across the 40, and a nice gain all the way out to the 45.
Little boot action here for the Big Blue and a hurry-up offense. They'll shuttle in different personnel packages throughout the game. It's a multiple set. Largely out of the shotgun will be Pippin, but you'll see some 2 running back sets and some 2 tight end looks as you do right here.
21 yards on the completion to Eric Aina, the tight end. Pippin takes a snap. Quick look out to the near side. There's a flag coming in. This is going to be holding on Millikin as you can see the shoulder pad clearly exposed. The jersey was pulled down on Marvin Carr.
Marvin Carr, the hard corner on that side. The Blue Jays implement a cover 2, a hard 2 defense, and Marvin Carr is the first run support on any fast plays to the outside, and that time just got dragged down to the turf.
We'll see where they end up putting this one back to. 10 yards from the previous spot will back them all the way back to the 36-yard line.
Despite the struggles, Kevin, so far this year for Elmhurst, the defense has really hung tough, allowing just over 20 points a game, and they've been pretty stout against the run, allowing only 172 on the ground.
So 1st and 20 now for Millikin. Pippin once again out of the gun. Pippin looks, quick screen out to the far side, and he overshoots his intended receiver. Looking for Blakely on the far sideline.
Well, Pippin's in his 7th collegiate start here. Still a youngster, just a freshman, as you mentioned in the open, and they've really limited the playbook for him. He's really a 1 or 2 read quarterback at this point in his career, but
Pippin on the season, 97 of 179, passed for just over 1,000 yards, 8 interceptions and 5 touchdowns. Empty backfield. Pippin takes a snap, dumps it up over the middle, and that one is dropped. Looking for Baker, and Baker just had to go right out of his hands as the Blue Jays catch a little bit of a break.
Third and forever for the Big Blue here. 3rd and 20 upcoming for the visitors from Decatur. And this is where the Blue Jay defense has got to get off the field.
Pippen out of the gun. 3 receivers, trips to the far sideline. Pippen takes the snap, looking, hit as he throws over the middle, looking for Blakely, and it's broken up nicely by Alec Giles coming across from behind.
Bang, bang play there in the back half of the secondary. Giles making a play on the football and forcing the early punt by the Big Blue.
So time to punt. Stephen Ritter in for the Blue Jays to return. Grant Shreve, the punter. So the Blue Jay defense holds. Millikin had the 1 first down, then moved 10 yards backwards off the penalty, and Elmhurst gets him to a 3 and out. Interesting, Tony, they didn't run the ball once. Full out pressure coming from the Blue Jays into the kicker. There's going to be a flag on this play as it's going to roll inside the 40 and out of bounds. Elmhurst came after it, and somebody got into Shreve that time.
Yeah, Blue Jays electing to bring a little pressure here. I pulled my eyes away from the play early. Doesn't look like any of the Blue Jays players ended up getting a piece of the football, so it is a penalty. It'll move the sticks on 3rd and 20. 4th and 20, excuse me. So the Big Blue get new life.
So this one is going to be marched forward all the way up to the Elmhurst side of the field as the Blue Jays penalty kills him on that one, and now it's a first down from 4th and 20 to 1st and 10 from the Elmhurst 49.
Yeah, and they'll come right back here to Dunning and try to establish a little bit of a ground game. Curious start to the game for the Big Blue. They have leaned on Dunning, and he's in the Wildcat now.
Dunning, direct snap. Starts his feet going forward, and he's hit at the line and dropped immediately. Charlie Roberts was there for the Blue Jays.
Charlie Roberts, number 45. He's been a bright spot on this defensive line all year for the Jays, able to knife through and make a play.
Push him back a yard. A loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11. So Pippen comes back to the helm. Empty backfield set again. 5 receivers, trips to the far side. Pippen takes a snap, pressured, dumps the screen off to Blakely. Blakely hit right at the line, and down he goes. Just a short gain.
Another great read by Roberts, number 55. He's the defensive end of the short side of the field. They try to run Dunning on a bubble screen. It's kind of window dressing to the field side, and they run the receiver underneath Mark Evangelista. Roberts read it nicely, peeled off, made the play.
Evangelista, Valdez honorable there for the Blue Jays as well. Got him back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 for Millikin. 3 receivers, trips to the far side. Pippen under pressure with some time, looks over the middle, pass is broken up by the Blue Jays. Looking over the middle, and it was Wills Massey, the man who got his hand on it for Elmhurst, trying to hit his tight end, wide receiver Brady Caffaud. And Massey got the big hand on it, knocked it down, and so now they'll punt again.
Great read by Massey, the outside linebacker, stepping right underneath the number 2 receiver that time, reading the eyes of Pippen, the young quarterback.
So Shreve on to punt. Stephen Ritter waits at his own 15. Here's the snap. Shreve, low line drive kick. It's going to bounce at the 25. Ritter will backpedal away from it. It's going to roll all the way down to about the 15, where it will be down by the Big Blue.
Well, it's an Elmhurst offense, Kevin, that's obviously struggled all year to generate any consistency. They're averaging 12.7 points a game and struggling to move the ball through the air. Just 100 yards a game through the aerial attack. We'll see if Camilleri can get something going here this afternoon.
Stand corrected on that one. It was a different Millikin punter. Maybe Shreve was a little banged up after getting run into. That was Coleman Lucanus, the kicker. So Joe Camilleri making just his 2nd appearance at home this season, Tony. Played in the opener against Loras, missed the game against North Central. He starts with Williams as the lone back. Slot formation to the near side. Camilleri takes a snap, give it to Williams, changes directions out across the 25 before he's brought down.
Josh Williams, obviously the younger brother of Gallardi Trophy winner Scotty Williams. He has carried the ball now 89 times for just over 440 yards. He has 4 touchdowns and averaging about 5 yards a carry about halfway through the season. Full house backfield here for the Jays.
Blue Jays stack it in the backfield. Camilleri working out of the pistol formation again. Takes the snap. Here is a give up the middle. I think that was Garrett Claxon, the ball carrier, I believe. Yep, Garrett Claxon, number 23. Just a couple, though, before he's met by half the Millikin line. Out to about the 22-yard line. Give him a yard.
Well, given the struggles of the Elmhurst offense this year, perhaps the Millikin defense is the perfect antidote. They've struggled through the first 6 games, ranked last in Division III in total defense, allowing 540 yards a game, 322 on the ground.
Slot formation to the far side. Camilleri works again out of the gun. Camilleri takes a snap. Quick look. Fat pass is deflected and knocked away. Intended for Chase Hamby. Broken up on the far side. Nice. The linebacker, I believe, for Millikin got his hand on it. That was Stephen Watson.
Well, that's a shot in the arm for a young Millikin defense. Today, Kevin, they're starting 9 underclassmen on the defensive side of the football, including 6 freshmen, 3 in the secondary, and just 2 seniors in the starting 11 for the Millikin defense.
Bayer will punt it away for the Blue Jays. Good high kick across midfield. Blakely will call for a fair catch and haul it in at his full 43-yard line. Millikin will take over 1st and 10. 11-17 left to go in the opening quarter. Pippin will bring the Big Blue offense back to the field, joined by Dunning is the lone man in the backfield. Receiver left and right for the Big Blue. Pippin ducks under center. Takes a snap. Here's a give to Dunning. Dunning knifing his way up the middle. Tackled, though, right on his feet. Looked like Massey, the man who brought him down for Elmhurst.
Well, certainly Dunning's a marked man. Anytime the Millikin offense heads onto the field, he has been their best player on both sides of the football. Coach Adam building a game plan around stopping number 25.
2-yard pickup for Dunning. Massey, the man who draped himself across the leg and slowed down Dunning. Pippin takes a snap. Handoff goes to Dunning, angling towards the right side. He gets around one man. He's got a first down and more. Across the 40 into Elmhurst territory near the 35 before being chased out of bounds.
Nice little quick pace there to the Millikin offense, and Dunning takes the outside zone. Great cut. Alec Giles, the safety, comes flying through, misses the tackle, allows Dunning to move the sticks, puts Millikin in pretty good field position at the 35-yard line.
20-yard pickup for Dunning on the play, his biggest of the day so far, and just a handful of carries. Offset eye now for Millikin in the backfield. Works out of the gun, or excuse me, that's Dunning working out of the Wildcat. He takes the direct snap. Races to his right, tries to turn the corner. He's got still on his feet, burst of speed down the sideline as he sneaks across the first down stick towards the 23-yard line.
New wrinkle for the Big Blue here now. We've seen a little bit of Wildcat with Dunning, but this time as a part of a 3-man backfield, kind of an I formation to his right side. Just a simple ISO play and able to pick up about 8 yards.
Say Dunning stepped out before he crossed the first down stick, give him 8 on the play. Pippin works out of the gun. Dunning to his immediate right. Pippin, high snap, pulls it down, hands off to Dunning. He is stacked up near the line, but driving his legs forward. He's going to be very close to the first down. George DeMaria in on the stop for the Blue Jays. It is a first down. Call it to the Elmhurst 24. Give him 3 yards on the play.
Well, Dunning's a very physical back. He does run 6 foot, and he's all of that 215. Runs with his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, ran through a defensive tackle on that play en route to the first down.
2 receivers set to the far side. Here's the toss for Dunning, and he just drops it and quickly covers it where he's dropped immediately by Elmhurst.
Well, uncharacteristic start to a Millikin Elmhurst game here as the ground game has kind of taken over the personality of this Saturday afternoon. The last 3 games, 45-42, 43-35, and 40-34, some shootouts.
Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14. Pippin, draw, going to take it himself. Up the middle he goes, across the 20, stutter step, and tripped up before nearing the 15. I think that was DiMaria, the man who got him again.
Simple calls for a young quarterback here. Simple read. Gets Pippen into his comfort zone here. Able to move the clock a little bit. Gets him a third and manageable.
Third and a long 3, close to 4 yards here for the Big Blue. Pippen ducks under, handoff to Dunning. Dunning met by Carr, trips his way forward, very close to the sticks. Again, maybe another first down here.
Great cut by Dunning. It was a power play off of right tackle. He cut it back against the grain, and Marvin Carr was the corner on the short side there, not able to make a play in the backfield.
The Big Blue, this play starting. 7 plays, 43 yards on this drive. Clock rolling down to 8:25 in the opening quarter. Blakely and Kafad split to the near side. Play action for Pippen. Over the middle he goes. He's got his man wide open. Touchdown. That's Kafad.
Great call by the Millikin offensive staff there, using the play action on first down. They had it dialed up. Blue Jays had it defended pretty well, but Steven Ritter, the safety, lost track of the number 2 receiver. Little post route into the back of the end zone.
Brady Kafad, a 6'1", 180-pound sophomore, got himself wide open in the end zone. And Pippen hit him perfect. Chase Volpert on to attempt the extra point. Here's a snap. Placement is made. The kick on its way and sails through the uprights. Good. So with 8:16 to go in the opening quarter, Millikin strikes first, Tony, jumping on the Blue Jays with an 8-play, 57-yard scoring drive to take a 7-0 lead.
And they seem pretty poised. I like the offensive game plan. The attack has been pretty straightforward here for Millikin. They had a good plan coming in. The defense for the Blue Jays, uncharacteristically lackadaisical here. Some missed tackles, out of position a couple of times. Got to get the energy level up on the Blue Jays sideline.
8 rushes for 42 yards for the Big Blue. 3 of 7 through the air is Pippen for 36. Elmhurst getting set to start their second possession. They went 3 and out on the first time.
It's an Elmhurst defense, Kevin, that has, despite the struggles of the team, has really kept the Blue Jays in games. Keeping Loris under 10 points. Trine scored 16. University of Chicago with 10. North Central was held to 2 scores through a half. Wheaton held to 7 through an entire half of football. So the defense has held serve. Millikin just marching down the field that time.
Volpert to tee it up for the Big Blue and kick off. Ritter and Chase Hamby back deep for the Blue Jays. Good to see Hamby back. He was missed a few weeks with an injury.
Yep.
Volpert on the approach. This is a low line drive kick taken by one of the up men and around the 33. That's DiMaria. Slips one tackler and gets out across the 40-yard line where he's tackled by number 38.
That's an outstanding grab by the versatile middle linebacker, George DiMaria, the senior out of South Florida. Saved about 20 yards on field position that time, just knocking it down and making a play. Blue Jays will start from the 44.
It's a low line drive kick. It technically only went 32 yards. DiMaria credited with an 11-yard return before Sullivan tripped him up. Elmhurst starts. 1st and 10, excellent field position off their own 43-yard line.
Here's a new look for the Jays. 3 wide look with 2 wings on either side of Camilleri.
Camilleri takes a snap. Here is a give to Williams. Williams sprinting out to the left side. Jumps over one man, gets a block, and shoves his way across midfield into Millikin territory near the first down. I think he's got one.
Stephen Watson, the outside linebacker, one of those freshmen for Millikin, able to knock Williams out of bounds, but not before he moves the sticks.
Out to the Millikin 46-yard line. It goes as a pickup of 11 yards for Elmhurst. First down for the Blue Jays, their first of the game. Camilleri, he's got receivers left and right. Williams, the Marone back. Handoff goes to Williams. A cut back across the middle. He's got room to run. 30, angling to the sideline. 25, 20, 15 to the 10, and he's driven out of bounds.
Great cutback by Williams that time. Just the simple inside zone play. It is the bread and butter of this offense, and Williams makes a great cut back against the grain into the teeth of this young defense, and Elmhurst has got something going.
Good run for Williams. It goes for 39 yards, a 1st and goal for the Blue Jays before Edwards, the man who chased him out of bounds. Great cutback, like you said, Tony, and Williams found daylight And Edwards saved a touchdown for the Blue Jays. Here's Camilleri out of the pistol again. Hand off to Williams. Williams following his blockers up the middle. He's going to get a couple yards before he's tripped up. Saw Stephen Watson, the man in there on the stop. Push him down to about the 4-yard line. Pick up a 3 on the play.
Well, the Blue Jays going behind Archer Winberg, a new right tackle for the Blue Jays. 3-year starter Adam Smith. And their best offensive lineman is not dressed today.
He got banged up in practice this week and is going to miss the contest. Receiver split to each side. Hamby to the far side, Sanfilippo to near side. They give it to Williams. Williams hit in the backfield and down he goes. That was Watson again who got there first for the Big Blue.
Watson knifing through, another one of those young defenders for the Big Blue. Sets up a big third down, and the Blue Jays have got to capitalize here with points. You'd like to have 6, but you can't come away empty-handed.
Loss of 3 on the play, back to the original line.
2 pretty good corners, both freshmen, Kevin. Joannis Edwards and Trayvon Hawkins are 2 of the top 3 tacklers for the Big Blue. And they make some plays, 3 interceptions between them.
Slot left, slot right for the Blue Jays. 4 receiver set. Williams joins him in the backfield. Camilleri takes a snap, looking. He's got Hamby to the near far sideline. Spins around one man, diving forward, touchdown Elmhurst.
Great move by Chase.
Chase Hamby did that work himself, caught it about the 3, was going to get stopped and just spun his way, reversed his direction back towards the middle of the field for the touchdown.
Good to have number 3 back. He's a reliable receiver for Joe Camilleri. Young man from Kentucky's been banged up a little bit, but a great spin move back to the inside, gets the Jays on the board.
5:56, 5 plays, 57 yards to the Elmhurst offense to get on the board. As David Thomas set to kick for the Blue Jays, attempting to tie it up. Out of the hold of Pincus. Here's a snap, placement made. The kick by Thomas is on its way, and it sails through the uprights good. So Millikin strikes first, but Elmhurst answers back immediately. A 5-play, 57-yard drive capped by a 7-yard touchdown pass from Camilleri to Chase Hamby, and the Blue Jays are right back in it, Tony.
Well, now it's starting to feel like an Elmhurst-Millikin game with the scoreboard operator getting his money's worth here today. So the last time these 2 teams played at Langhorse Field was a 43-35 game. Elmhurst came away with the victory. So they've definitely had some entertaining ones here at Langhorst.
Had the last 7 games been decided by 1 score or less. 7 points or less, I should say. And they have been very, very high-octane type feels to it with the offenses running wild and the defense. Both teams' defense is really struggling to stop the other.
Well, the 3 overtime game was that in 2009 here against Millikin. I was worried we weren't going to have. I don't think we had the lights at the time.
Not. We were going to run out of daylight there for a little bit. So this is Bayer going to kick off for the Blue Jays. High kick, end over end. It's going to be taken by Blakely from the inside the end zone. He's going to bring it out. Out across the 15, running towards the far sideline, and he's shoved out of bounds. So pushed out near about the 20-yard line, probably. Officials starting to come forward, still haven't put the ball down.
I'd like to see the Blue Jays defense come out here and assert themselves a little bit. Millikin kind of ran up and down the field the last drive of the game. It's a defense that the statistics are kind of lie to you. They've been on the field a lot this year for the Blue Jays, but they've been pretty stout, pretty reliable. We'll see if George DeMury and the crew can turn back the Big Blue.
Pippin, play action, throws it to the near sideline and hit immediately and dropped. That was Gaffard made the catch when he was hit immediately by Marvin Carr.
That's the Big Blue coaching staff playing against the run tendencies of the corners of this Big Blue or this Blue Jay defense. Marvin Carr's first run support did not bite on the play action that time.
Going to lose a yard actually on the play. 2nd and 11 as the Blue Jay defense shoves them backwards. Slot formation, far sideline. Pippin, play action, rolling out to his right. Now looks back over the other shoulder. The screen set up on the near sideline. He passes complete, but driven out of bounds, and they're going to lose even more on the play.
Great read by Mark Evangelista. This is a team that does not flip their corners. They don't run a lot of man coverage. Number 6, Evangelista, the senior captain, read it well.
Completed pass went to Brooks, but he was hit out of bounds and shoved out by Evangelista, and Blue Jays have shoved them back twice now. 3rd and 14, 3rd and long for the Big Blue.
Well, a draw down or a screen down here for the Big Blue.
Elmhurst looks like they're showing blitz. Here they come from the far sideline, and he's going to overshoot his intended receiver. Intended for 3. Pressure put on by Ritter was blitzing on the play. He made the hurry.
That's the personality of Coach Adam. Once he gets a team in 3rd and long, 4th and long, he loves to bring pressure and force the issue, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. Worked in the Blue Jays' favor that time.
Lucanus.
And how about Ritter, stationed at about the 45-yard line on Millikin's side?
Here's the kick, a high kick. Ritter is going to call for the fair catch and take it at his own 48-yard line.
So the Blue Jays now working with a little momentum. The defense stepping up on that last drive. The offense able to pick up a big score. 4:28 left to go here in the first quarter, and Camilleri will lead them out.
Fair catch made by Ritter, and Elmhurst offense takes over. 1st and 10, 4:28 left to go in a tie game here in the opening quarter. Camilleri out of the gun. Handoff. This is Tubeck. Tubeck stutter steps across midfield, and he's dropped at the Millikin 49.
Got a chance to see Wesley Beach there, brother of Jerry Beach, a former Elmhurst standout here, knifing through and forcing the play outside.
Picks up 3, 2nd and 7.
Big Blue, just like the Blue Jays, will not flip their corners. They run a 3-4 defense, almost like a 5-2 front with the linebackers rolled up on the edges.
Slot formation to the far side. Hamby the lone receiver to the near side. The give is up the middle. Tubeck, he loses the football, but the Blue Jays recover immediately. Tubeck just got popped, and the ball popped loose. I think it was 77, the man who forced the fumble.
Yeah, Tubeck has had some troubles this year. It began in the Loris game, and it continues to be a struggle for him, the young running back. He spells Josh Williams. They split time here. Williams has really come to the front as the featured back in this offense, but Tubeck is a valued member of this Blue Jay offense, and lucky that time that the Blue Jays get another down.
3rd and 4. It was Blue Jays recovered the fumble. 4 receivers, slot left, slot right. Camilleri back to pass. The pocket collapses. He rolls out and just throws it away. Had a Lindell in the neighborhood. Or excuse me, Will Casper's the man, the intended target. Pressure was coming fast and furious from the Big Blue as they were blitzing.
Little heat from Jim Vavick that time, a senior out of Missouri. And the Big Blue also bringing a little heat on 3rd down.
So Elmhurst fails to convert on 3rd down. The punting unit will come in.
Good spot on the field if you got a fake in your bag of tricks here, Kevin.
Bayer setting up at his own 40, waiting for the snap. Blakely the deep man for the Big Blue. And that one goes off the side of the foot. Not a good kick by Bayer. It'll bounce and roll out to the far sideline right at the Millikin 25-yard line.
Good answer by the Millikin defense that time. Disappointing effort by the Blue Jays. The fumble and then the poor protection on the 3rd down play forces the punt, and the Big Blue will start at about the 25-yard line.
So Millikin takes over. 2:48 to go in the opening quarter. Still tied at 7. Pretty even so far, Tony, through the opening possession. 74 yards for Millikin, 70 for the Blue Jays. Pippin, hands off. This is Dunning. Dunning is tripped up as he came across the line. The ball pops loose, but they're going to say he was down by contact.
Dunning kind of tiptoeing through the line of scrimmage that time. Like to see him lower the pads and run with a little bit more authority.
5-yard play. A pickup for the Big Blue. Two receivers, slot formation near sideline. Motion on the line, and Millikin's going to get flagged for a false start here.
We're seeing a lot of 3-by-1 formations out of the Big Blue. 2 receivers and a tight end to one side with Dunning the lone back, leaving a hinge look on the backside, just a single tight end or a single receiver.
Bowers, the fullback, flagged for the false start. It'll back him up back to the original line. 2nd and 10 for Millikin. Empty backfield set again. Pippin takes the snap out of the gun. Over the middle he goes. He's got his man across the 30, and Baker is driven out near the 35-yard line.
Well, they came back to a play they ran earlier in the quarter. Just a 5-wide look, and they run the drag route, the number 3 receiver underneath the linebackers, and Baker able to move the sticks.
Does go for a first down, pick up a 10 on the play. They'll spot it right at the 35-yard line.
Here's your I formation look for the Big Blue.
Here's a snap to Dunning. Dunning hit in the backfield, spinning his way down, and finally taken down in the backfield by the Blue Jays.
I think that was Anthony Beltrano, the backup linebacker, knifing through a junior out of AT, Addison Trail. Great play to push Dunning back. Brings up a 2nd and long, 2nd and 15 for Millikin now.
Loss of 5 on the play. 2nd and 15 for the Big Blue. 4 receiver set, trips to the far sideline for Millikin. Pippin takes a snap, back to pass, looking. Rainbows it deep down the far sideline and overshooting his intent. A flag comes in.
Wow.
I don't know how that ball was catchable, Tony.
Well, terrific position by Marvin Carr, number 2 on the play, and I'm not sure what the flag is about.
That ball was about 10, 15 yards over the head of his intended receiver.
Well, as a former defensive back myself and a former defensive back coach, it sure is pass interference. I don't know how you can coach it up any differently. Marvin in great position. He's inside and on top of the receiver. Doesn't make a lot of contact with the body. No arm bar. Ball's overthrown. Tough call for the Jays.
Should be 15 yards and a automatic first down for the Big Blue.
Just a vertical shot on 2nd and 15, huh? Just kind of a one-on-one deal. Marvin gets the tough end of that one.
So they spot it. They only gave him 14 yards on the play, but set it up at their own 44. It is an automatic first down. So 1st and 10, 3 receiver set again, trips formation to the far sideline. He's going to take it himself. Pippin scrambling and now just dives forward across the line of scrimmage. He'll pick up 2.
Pressure look that time for Joe Adam on 1st down, and we got a Blue Jay down.
Spot right at the Millikin 46-yard line. Blue Jay players shaken up on the field.
It's been a tough year for injuries for the Blue Jays. Seen a lot of starters in and out of the lineup.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say the Blue Jays have lost a lot of players to injury this year after pretty much being injury-free last year and avoiding a lot of big injuries to keep players. This year, they've struggled in that regard, and no fault of their own. Just sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And this year, they have been bit by the injury bug.
Sure have. Training regimen, training program has remained the same from a year ago. It's just one of those years. Sometimes when it rains, it pours, and Blue Jays look like they might be losing another of their brethren here.
Can't see who the injured player is on the field at the moment, but Ann Hutchins and the Elmhurst training staff out attending to him. Looking at the numbers so far, early plays, Millikin balancing it out so far, Tony. 11 running plays, 11 passing plays. 22 total for 86 yards, averaging just 3.9 per play. They do have 8 first downs.
That's Beltrano, the young linebacker here. Made a play a couple of snaps ago. Looks like he's going to get some help off the field.
Favoring that left leg, not putting any pressure down as he's getting assisted off the field. So Millikin will set up. 2nd and 8 now from their own 46-yard line. That followed the big pass interference penalty down the far sideline. Dunning working out of the Wildcat this time. High snap, he pulls it down, goes up the middle. He's hit by Carr, and Carr trips him up and holds on. Allows for a lot more of his Blue Jay teammates to finish him off, not before he picks up 4 towards midfield.
Well, we mentioned the experience of this offensive line coming in, but they run pretty hefty across the front line. 305, 285, 280, 260, and 275, the front 5 for Millikin.
Millikin does not have to take another snap if they don't want to, and it doesn't look like they're going to. They're going to let this one wind down as the clock ticks down to 10 seconds. And this one is going to come to a close. The opening quarter is in the books. Millikin and Elmhurst are deadlocked at 7. Big Blue had an opening drive in the first quarter. Elmhurst answered back. A big run by Josh Williams set it up. The Blue Jays with just 2 first downs, and one of those was that key run by Williams that set everything up. And then a nice play by Chase Hamby off a reception to tie things up here in the first quarter. Another game, big game. A lot of people watching today in the CCIW standings. Illinois Wesleyan and Wheaton early in the second quarter, just underway. It is 3-3, even up between the Titans and the Thunder, a matchup of 2 top 25 squads.
Well, you look at the standings in the CCIW, and a lot is going to be decided in the next couple of weeks. Wesleyan and Wheaton, like you mentioned, both 3-0 in the conference, both 6-0 on the season. North Central also in the mix, one of those top 25 teams. 6-0 and 3-0 for North Central. The 3 of them will all meet here in the next couple of weeks here in the CCIW. Will go a long way in deciding the playoff picture in the national playoffs.
A couple other Elmhurst sports to mention. We've mentioned the Elmhurst volleyball team picked up 2 wins last night, playing at the University of Chicago, defeating Alma and the 18th ranked host Maroons. 18th ranked host Maroons. Blue Jays 27-4 on the year, ranked 5th in the nation. Got a game coming your way on BlueJayTV.com this week as the Blue Jays host Illinois Wesleyan on Wednesday. Back to live action. The second quarter underway as Pippin takes the snap. Pippin looking. He's got time to the near side. Intercepted by the Blue Jays at the 30. And ripped down near the 45, and a flag's going to fly on top of it for a horse collar. Alec Giles had the pick.
Alec Giles read it perfectly. Just a 3-man rush for the Blue Jays. Dropped 8 into coverage. It was a high-low route combination. And Giles, the safety, ran in front of the corner route to turn the ball over. Looks like we'll get an extra 15 here for a face mask.
A face mask or a horse collar, either way, it was going to be 15 tacked onto it, right at the 45.
Big shot in the arm for this Blue Jay offense here, getting the football on the right side of the 50-yard line here. Great jump by Giles, and he had some injury problems a year ago, but he's been healthy this year. Both those safeties, and Ritter and Giles, have been pretty good on the back end for the Jays. Jays will start on the near hash here on the 40-yard line going in.
Here's a hand, or play action as Camilleri rolls out with time. Now pressured, hit as he throws. He's got his man wide open. It's Williams, 20, 15, and taken down, holding on for dear life. But the Blue Jays with a big gainer to Josh Williams.
Well, one of those young corners, Trayvon Hawkins, a freshman, again, a dynamic player in the back end of that secondary, got lost a little bit in his zone responsibilities, and Williams snuck down the sidelines. Camilleri came back to him. Nice little play to set up 1st and 10 from the 12.
1st and 10, it goes for 28 on the play.
There's another look at that full house backfield. They have Will Caspers to the right of Camilleri, and Williams will be behind him.
Camilleri takes a snap, give it up the middle to Williams. Williams breaks one tackle, drags a man with him inside the 10 towards the 9-yard line. Short pickup.
So different dressing on the outside of it, but a very similar theme to the running game for the Blue Jays. It's all based out of the zone formation, zone running game attack. Williams that time electing to press the line of scrimmage. He can cut it back, as we saw earlier, or bounce it, which we've seen him do as well.
Call it 3 yards for Williams. Second and a long 7 for the Blue Jays. 3 receivers. Hamby, the lone man to the near sideline. Camilleri will take the snap. Here's a handoff to Williams. Up the middle he goes and tripped up immediately, dragged down. The number 44 for the Big Blue.
Well, the Big Blue showing press man coverage down here in the short space inside the red zone. I might test Chase Hamby one-on-one against one of these freshman corners.
Put it down right at the 8. Call it just a yard on the play. Third and a long 5, short 6, depending on how you're looking at it. Camilleri out on the pistol. Williams behind him in the formation. Receivers left and right for the Blue Jays. Hamby to the lone man to the near side. Here's a handoff to Williams. He slips one tackle, but is slowed down and taken down in the backfield for a loss. Watson was there again for Millikin.
Well, it's an extremely conservative call by the Blue Jays there on offense, opting to go with Williams on a 3rd and 5 with one-on-one coverage on the edge, not able to move the sticks, and it'll be Thomas.
Loss of 2 on the play. David Thomas is on to attempt a field goal now.
Blue Jays for the year are under 30% converting on 3rd down.
This will go for 27 yards on the attempt. Here's the snap, placement made. Thomas' boot is on the way, and it is good. So Elmhurst on the board with 12:09 left to go in the second quarter. The Blue Jays take a lead on the David Thomas 27-yarder. They lead it now 10-7 as the Blue Jays back on top of the Big Blue.
Coach Adam opting to take points that time. Free possession when you get a turnover like that, the Giles interception. So taking a lead here, 10-7 with 12:09 left to go in the half.
Good job by Elmhurst to capitalize on the turnover. Giles picked it off at the Elmhurst 30, brought it back 15 yards. And then was an extra 15 tacked onto it for the penalty on Millikin.
Well, special teams have been pretty good this year for the Blue Jays. Great coverage unit for special teams coach Ben Gray. Coverage units have been pretty good. Some good-looking returns. Thomas has struggled a little bit in the kicking game, but overall positive season thus far for the Blue Jays.
So the Blue Jays had the wind earlier to start. This time the 2 Millikin deep men are going to wait at their own 10-yard line. Bayer will restart it. This kick is going to be short, and a fair catch is called for at the 22-yard line. Don't see that every day for one of the up men, but just wanting to make sure he catch that one in.
Michael Dietz-Menzel, a defensive lineman, Kevin, a freshman. Don't get many opportunities to return kicks in college football, and passed on one there, opting for the fair catch at about the 25. No, make it about the 22-yard line.
Millikin working with the wind in their favor now in this quarter. Moving left to right. Wind gusting at about 15 miles an hour or so today.
Got to think they'll come back to the ground game here. Seem to have something good going in the first quarter.
Pippen takes a snap. Here's the toss to Dunning. Dunning hit in the backfield, and down he goes. Marvin Carr, the man who tripped him up and made the play.
Marvin Carr, senior, listed at 5'5", 145. That's pretty accurate, making a nice play in the backfield. He plays much bigger than his listed size. He's a tough kid. Came out of the Catholic League in Chicago. Been a very steady performer for the Jays.
Loss of 4 on the play. 2nd and 14 now. 4 receivers for Millikin. Trips near sideline. Pippen looking, still looking. Over the middle he goes, and incomplete. Looking for Blakely, but leading him too far.
Well, pass rush has been a problem for the Blue Jays so far this year. That time running a 4-man rush, a little stunt game up front. The 3-man rush has not gotten home at all this year for the Blue Jays. Only 4 sacks on the year.
And I think 3 of those, Tony, came against North Central.
They sure did.
The Blue Jays were without a sack for their first 3 games, and then turned it up against the number 5 ranked Cardinals in the opening half. 4 receiver set again for Millikin. Pressured and hit, and now a flag comes in. It's going to be a false start, delay a game. Going to get a false start.
Wow. Millikin bailed out that a bit there, Joe Adam, just as we had mentioned, dialing up a little pressure on 3rd and long.
So make it 3rd and longer, from 3rd and 14 to 3rd and 19 now.
So Coach Adams showed his hand there. I'll see if he comes back to pressure or opts for coverage. 3rd and forever.
From their own 13-yard line, they will keep Dunning in the backfield, go trips to the near sideline. Pippen out of the gun. Here come now. He's going to just take it himself on a draw. Goes up the middle. Tackled well short of the 20-yard line.
Yep.
Safe play for the Big Blue.
Probably the right call for the Big Blue, too. Pippen, he's got 6 games under his belt as a collegiate quarterback. Don't force it into the teeth of this defense. Deep in your own territory. Punt it and live to play another down.
So spotting it at the 17-yard line.
Well, a Millikin defense that has just had troubles getting off the football field this year has been pretty good today.
There's the kick. Lakunas, good kick into the wind, or with the wind, taken by Ritter from his own 41. Out across the 45, angling to the near side, across, and tripped up. Otherwise, Ritter was going to go sideline. That one, ball pops loose, but ruled well down. Number 23, the man who made a great tackle there for Millikin.
We'll see what that defense has here. Again, on a short field. Great field position so far for the Jays. Again, the special teams showing up. It's the things that kind of happen between the box score lines for the Blue Jays. They've been doing very well.
42-yard punt, a return of 14 on the play by Ritter. Elmhurst sets up, 10:26 left to go. Setting up from the Millikin 45-yard line. Excellent field position once again. Receivers left and right for the Blue Jays. Camilleri will take the snap, looking to pass. He throws to the far sideline. He's got his man. That's Sanfilippo. As Sanfilippo's got a first down before he's taken down inside the 35-yard line.
Sanfilippo's been your leading receiver, that time going over just 100 yards on the season. His 12th catch.
11 yards, brought down by Edwards and Neal on the play.
I like taking a couple of shots here, maybe build the confidence of number 12 in Camilleri. Take a few shots down the field.
Blue Jays going into the wind this time in this quarter. 9:59, the clock rolling. Camilleri takes a snap. Here is a give. This is Smith. Smith near sideline across the 30 and then shouldered down nearing the 25-yard line. 38, the man who made the tackle. That's Sullivan.
Well, Tyler Smith, just a sophomore out of Lake Park High School here, local kid. Soft edge by the Big Blue. Smith taking it that time and setting up a 2nd and 4 for the Blue Jays. Three by one look now for the Blue Jays as they go 3 to the far side. Lone tight end to the near.
Camilleri takes a snap, looking to pass once again. He's got Sanfilippo at the 20, slips around one man, and another first down for the Blue Jays.
I'm a little surprised that the Big Blue are offering some soft coverage on those receivers. The Blue Jay wideouts have not shown an ability to break free on man-to-man coverage so far this year, and Big Blue's given them a lot of space.
With the space, another first down for the Blue Jays inside the 20. Elmhurst setting up in the Millikin red zone now. 6th first down of the game for the Blue Jays. They're over 125 yards of offense in the contest. Smith, the lone man in the backfield again for Elmhurst. Camilleri takes a snap, play action, looking. Over the middle he goes, and that one is off the shoulder pad of Casper's, incomplete. I don't think anybody got a hand on that one. Just a touch maybe behind him.
I think T.J. Sullivan came flashing across the formation. He's the senior at linebacker, one of the few upperclassmen for Millikin. Good read by the middle linebacker of the Big Blue, and Camilleri really kind of forced it there.
Well, if Sullivan got a hand on it, then he did save a touchdown, because Casper's was open in the end zone for the Blue Jays. They'll try it again, 2nd and 10, 8:39 left in the opening half. Receivers in the slot formation this time, Sanfilippo and Hamby. Motion out of Claxon for the Blue Jays. And flag flies. Elmhurst going to get called for a false start. So back the Blue Jays up 5. It'll make it 2nd and 15.
Well, they'll call the penalty on Drake Hoffman, the center. And pushing the Elmhurst back to a 2nd and 15, an offense that has struggled to generate points and yardage this year. Puts you behind the 8 ball here with 2nd and 15.
So far, Tony, the Blue Jays doing pretty well. 19 plays, 127 yards, 6.7 per play. A couple big ones for Josh Williams so far.
Feasting on a struggling defense here this afternoon, just what you want to see.
Smith, the lone man in the backfield. He will play action, actually, by Camilleri. He goes to the near side and too high. Casper's got his hands on it but couldn't pull it in.
Well, Casper's is really the only true tight end on the roster. The Blue Jays use a lot of H-back looks, fullback hybrid guys that they'll use in motion games, veer games, but Casper's is your typical tight end look.
That's a position that's been decimated by injuries so far. Vince Gabriel's a preseason All-American, returning All-Conference player. Out. Tom Lindell, also another one of your tight ends for the last couple of years. He's out as well. So receivers to each side again for the Blue Jays. Sanfilippo to the near side, Hamby to the far side. Smith lines up next to Camilleri. Camilleri with time, now looking. Dancing in the pocket, throws to the near sideline, and it is incomplete. Intended for Claxon. So now what do? You want to try the Thomas field goal here into the wind? Or do you go for it, Tony?
Looks like the Jays are willing to go here. Nope, Thomas will come out. He's got the leg for it. I know it's into the wind and a pretty stiff breeze today as the flags are whipping around on top of the goalposts.
This one's going to be close to about 40 yards, depending on where they put the ball down at. And Pincus taking a knee right at the 30, so this one will go for 40 yards. He's got the school record of over 50 yards. He did that last year in the game against Augustana. This one into a strong wind. Here's the snap. Good snap. Placement made. Thomas booms that one downfield, and it is good.
Good knock.
David Thomas, 2 for 2 with 2 field goals into the wind on that one, 40 yards. And Elmhurst now extends their lead 13-7.
You brought up the Augustana game from a year ago, and that ended up being the game winner for the Blue Jays. A late rally by Joe Ferkel in the offense, but the field goal really did it for the Blue Jays to keep him from falling to the Vikings at home last year. And Thomas, a big one here, 2 on the day, extends the lead.
13-7. Elmhurst would have rather had 7 than 3, but they extend their cushion. Millikin will get the ball back now. Blue Jays right now, 21 plays, 127 yards, 6 first downs on the day, averaging 6 yards per play. 12 carries, 71 yards on the ground. The Blue Jays 4 of 9 through the air for 56 yards.
Well, you knew coming into the week when the coaching staff is breaking down the Millikin defensive film, they thought they had some opportunities. The Big Blue, at least in the conference, Kevin, they're last in every major category with the exception of passing defense, but that's likely because they're giving up 322 on the ground. So the Blue Jay offense could make some hay here today, and seems like they've got a good thing going.
Oh, once again, Bayer will kick it off into the wind. This one is going to push Blakely back inside the 10. He takes it from the 6. Blakely out across the 20-yard line, spun down and driven back by the Blue Jays near the 20-yard line. And forward progress will push him out to about the 23.
Well, more outstanding coverage from these Blue Jays on special team. It's the little things sometimes that it takes to win in this league. Andy Warson, the safety, freshman out of Wyoming, Michigan, making a play there on the kickoff team.
They'd put it down right at the Millikin 23-yard line. They've got 8:09 left to operate here in the second quarter.
Big possession here. I know it's early in the game, 8:09 left to go in the half, Kevin, but this is a big confidence builder for Millikin. If the defense can shut them down here, you got to like the prospects of the Blue Jay offense coming back with momentum on their side.
Pippin takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Dunning, now looks, he's going to rainbow down the far sideline. He's got his man in stride, and he couldn't hang on. In the hands of Kafad, and he just flat out dropped that one. That was a great pass by Pippin as he hit Kafad in stride. and he just could not pull it in.
Kafad's been their big play guy all year, Kevin. 20 catches coming into today, over 300 yards, but 15 yards a catch, for Kafad, and that time not able to look it in. He had Evangelista beat down the Elmhurst sidelines.
Pippin will try it again. Receivers to each side. Play action another time. Throws to the screen for Blakely, and that one well over his head as there was pressure coming from the Blue Jays line.
A lot of penetration by the Blue Jays here, and I'm really surprised to see the Big Blue moving away from the ground game, the power O game that they came at us with in the second drive of the game. Haven't seen the zone rushing game, haven't seen the ISO game. Curious calls here by the offensive staff of the Big Blue.
Millikin will spread it out. 4 receivers, 3 of them lined up to the far side. Pippin joined by Dunning in the backfield. Pippin takes a snap, looking over the middle. He goes. Pass is broken up and intercepted by the Blue Jays. Ritter from the 40, 30, 20, and driven out of bounds.
Great tip play by Ritter that time, and Pippin, the young quarterback, looked down his receiver the entire time. It was a 3-by-1 formation, Kevin. The one receiver side, it was a dig route, came in behind the linebackers, and Pippin did not move his eyes off the receiver.
An Elmhurst defender, I think it was maybe Caleb Steffens, got a hand on the ball, deflected it slightly right into the chest of Steven Ritter from the 40-yard line, and he put 20 more yards on the sideline, and the Blue Jays are in business.
And to make things worse, middle linebacker George DeMaria peeled back and laid out Tyler Sanders on the return of the play there, setting up the Blue Jays now inside the 20-yard line and in business against the Big Blue.
Second turnover of the day that the Blue Jays come up with. They are going to stack it in the backfield again. Receivers left and right for Camilleri. Camilleri will take the snap. Play action. He's going to roll it out to himself, giving chase and firing that one away. Good pressure that time. Travis Gavea, the man who hurried that play.
Gavea, nice play, knifing inside of Will Caspers, the tight end. And Caspers is a little banged up here today too, but needs to do a better job sealing off Gavea and allow Camilleri to get the edge. If Camilleri gets outside, number 77, he's got some green space out there to work with.
Say that may have just been a design bootleg actually for Camilleri, and alertly knew that he couldn't do anything with it and just threw it away. Tubeck in the backfield for the Blue Jays now. Double tight end set for Elmhurst. He will get Claxon going in motion. Here's a handoff to Tubeck. Tubeck out across the 20, 15, trying to bounce outside, and he's going to be stood up right there and driven down at the 15.
Tremendous push by the right side of that offensive line. Again, no Adam Smith today, the best offensive lineman for the Blue Jays. But we're getting a good look at Adam Connors out there and Danny McHale. Drake Hoffman moving some people out of the way. Good push by the Blue Jays.
Put it down at the Millikin 15. Pickup of 4 on the play. It's 3rd and long. 3rd and 6 for the Blue Jays. 3 receiver set again. Slot formation to the near side. Claxon the man in the slot. Tubeck the lone back for the Blue Jays as Camilleri working again out of the pistol. Takes the snap. Hit as he throws over the middle, and he's picked off at the goal line. Intercepted by Millikin, and it's going to be returned by 34 down the sideline. Across the 20, 25 as Edwards is finally tackled at the 25-yard line as Elmhurst unable to cash in on the turnover. They hand it back to the Big Blue.
Well, Camilleri, the junior, has got to know better than to make this call. Forcing it in this time. Try to go to the post route on the short side of the field. It's a 3-by-1 formation. Looking him down all the way. Edwards, the young corner, makes a great play, knifing in front. Nice little return, too, to set up the Big Blue beyond the 25-yard line.
So Edwards took it right at the goal line. He brought it back 24 yards.
I like these young corners for the Big Blue. They're going to be pretty good here along the way. High formation, heavy look for the Big Blue.
There is a handoff to Dunning up the middle, and he has stood up right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard or two, but that's about it.
Well, the Blue Jays a year ago, despite their success on defense, gave up a ton of yards. But what the biggest difference this year we've seen is in the defensive line. Chris Reed, Matt Judici, Charlie Roberts, Nick Spracklin. The 3 down linemen and the linebackers behind him have been playing very well against the downhill running game in the CCIW.
Give him a yard. 2nd and 9 on the play for Millikin. And now the offset eye one more time. Bowers goes in motion. Handoff is to Dunning. Stutter step in the backfield, and he's going to be driven down for a loss.
Goodness. Boy, he draws a crowd, doesn't he, Kevin? Coming into the game over 800 yards rushing. And the primary offensive weapon for the Big Blue, Dunning has not been able to get uncorked here.
Lots of players, the whole defensive line almost on that stop for Elmhurst. It backs him up to the 25 again.
Well, the 5-wide look has really been about runoff routes and underneath drag routes. The linebackers have got to look up the crossers.
3rd and 10, Pippin under pressure.
There it is.
Pass complete over the middle and tackled well short. Is Baker getting brought down on the play by Riffle.
Extremely predictable and extremely conservative by the Big Blue offense on 3rd down there. Big turnover to turn away the Blue Jays and not able to do anything with the football.
7 yards on the completion to Baker, but that's it. A 3 and out for the Elmhurst defense. They'll get the ball back. Ritter will wait inside his own 35. There's a snap and a good kick. That's going to sail into the wind. Ritter will take it on the run at the 20 and moving backwards. Ritter now changes direction, gets around one man. He's got some daylight to the near sideline. 25-30, 35-40, and finally run out of bounds near the 45, and flags come flying in for a helmet-to-helmet shot on number 85.
Well, there's a flag on the far side of the field. Long time to ask his return team to hold their blocks, and it looks like it's going to be offsetting penalties, perhaps. Great job by Ritter just to field that ball. Blue Jays would have been buried deep inside their own zone. Even better job of taking the football out, but I think the Blue Jays will get flagged.
Went out of bounds near the Elmhurst 47. Let's see what the penalties are here. There are clearly penalties on both squads. You've probably got an illegal block or a hold on the return on Elmhurst. And then you've definitely got a late hit out of bounds here by Millikin with a head-to-head shot. Okay, well, they announced that there's the illegal block penalty, and I think they're going to walk this one back and then mark it forward 15 yards on top of it. Yep, they're going to call that one a dead ball.
So it ends up as a 5-yard plus for the Blue Jays here. Not a bad turn of events. Great punt.
So they get it back to the 16. They're going to credit Ritter out to the 26 before the illegal block.
Well, just an end-over-end bomb off the leg of the Big Blue that time, and Ritter does a nice job to field it. All in all, the Blue Jays will start in pretty good field position on the far side of the field at the 32-yard line on the hash. 4:42, we'll see how frisky offensive coordinator Kyle Derrickson wants to get here. Seems like plenty of time. The full playbook should be at your fingertips. Like to see him get some points on the board. A wasted possession in the last round for the Blue Jays. You got to come away with some positive plays here before the half.
So 1st and 10 Elmhurst from their own 32-yard line. Josh Williams in the backfield again for Elmhurst. Handoff goes to Williams. Up the middle he goes. Williams is out across the 35 before he's tripped up.
Well, 2 freshmen are featured in the front 4 for this Millikin defensive line. Travis Gavea, who we've mentioned before, and Michael Deeds-Menzel, both first-year players for Millikin. Blue Jays continue to go right at them.
Give him a few yards, 5 yards on the carry to be exact for Williams. 2nd and 5 coming up for the Blue Jays, working out of the pistol again. Camilleri, handoff goes to Williams. Williams changes directions, cutting back towards midfield, where he's tripped up and taken down after a pickup of about 3.
Well, as you get a look at some of this inside zone game, the linebackers for Millikin are not respecting the play-action look for Camilleri. They are downhill at the snap of the football, seeking out Williams. You got to think that play action on 1st down and 2nd down has got to look pretty good for the Blue Jays. But a 3rd and 4 here.
Camilleri, play action. They'll throw it out to Williams on the screen. 40, 45. He gets a block and gets around and taken down out of bounds near midfield, but not before he gets the first down.
Well, Stephen Watson, the 6'1 freshman at linebacker, just not athletic enough to keep up with Williams. He came on the swing pass that time. It's a veer look we see all the time out of this Blue Jay offense. Camilleri pulling it out of the belly of the veer back, flipping it out to Williams, and able to work in space and move the sticks.
Hawkins takes him down. 3 minutes, 5 seconds left in this first half in the second quarter. Blue Jays working with a 6-point lead. They lead at 13-7. Receivers line up in a slot formation the far sideline. Claxon will go in motion for the Blue Jays. Here's a handoff to Williams. Williams cuts towards the near sideline, cuts back towards midfield, and he's taken down right at midfield.
Another nice play by the young corner. This time it's Trayvon Hawkins. He is the right corner for the Big Blue.
They'll put it down actually at the Millikin 49. Give Josh Williams 3 yards. Elmhurst 16 carries, 84 yards on the ground so far today. Millikin an identical 16, just 48 for the Big Blue. Sanfilippo will go to the far side for the Blue Jays. Double tight end look one more time for Elmhurst. Camilleri takes a snap. Millikin almost jumps on the hard count. They reset. Camilleri takes a snap. He will play action, fake the handoff, rolling, looking and throwing it, and that one skipping into his intended target, trying to hit Jeff Deagle.
Great job by Hawkins that time, sniffing out the comeback route. Did a nice job in the week preparing for the Blue Jays. Their tendencies, Deagle that time on the comeback off the boot. Well covered on the back end, too. Camilleri didn't have many options.
Down to 2 minutes, 1 second exactly. Clock stopped after the incompletion. Both teams with the full complement of timeouts here.
See if Coach Derrickson trusts number 12 to push the ball down the field and pick up the 7 through the air.
3 receivers set one more time for Elmhurst. Slot far side. Camilleri. Here's a draw to Williams up the middle. Skips around one man. Trushing his way towards the sticks. He is going to be very close, but I think he might be about a yard shy.
Well, 2 different spots by the respective line judges. The line judge on our side of the field has a first down. The far side has him short.
I think if this is short, I think the Blue Jays are going to go for it here on 4th and 1.
Well, they'll mark it short without a measurement, and you got to think you'll go for it here with 1:30. Young defensive line and a dynamic back in Williams. I like that combination for the Jays.
I'll stack it up at the line of scrimmage for Elmhurst. Camilleri, high snap, pulls it down. Give to Williams, gets around a man. He's got a first down and more. Out across the 40, and he's tackled near the 38-yard line.
Well, some really good pressure that time, knifing through the defensive line, was the linebacker Jim Vavick, able to force Williams to bounce, but Williams is athletic enough and powerful enough to pick up the first down and stop the clock at 1:12.
6-yard pickup for Josh Williams, and he's kind of the guy, Tony, that you just want to get the ball to. He will make plays happen, a lot like his older brother, Scotty. You want to just get him the ball and give him some space and see what he can do.
Well, unlike last year, there is not a lot of offensive firepower on the side of the football for the Blue Jays, but Williams is one of those bright spots. Number 5 is great in the passing game. He's great in the pass protection as well, and he's able to obviously run the football in the zone game. So you want to get it in his hands as many times as possible.
Elmhurst takes their first time out here. Clock stopped with 1 minute and 12 seconds left into Millikin territory.
And with the loss of Vince Gabriels, as you mentioned earlier, you're talking about an All-American type player, a 3-year starter. Took a lot of pressure off of these backs and helped out a lot last year to balance out the offense, although Williams was the star. Vince Gabriels was kind of that unheralded, under-the-radar type of guy, and this year went down early in the season. Along with Lindell, those are the 2 H-backs that they use to balance out the offense, and not available here this Saturday. So 1:12, you got to speed up the tempo here a little bit unless you're thinking field goal. Williams not on the field for the Blue Jays.
Camilleri out of the pistol again. He will play action, pumps once. Now he's going deep down the sideline. He's got his man open. It's a jump ball, and it's intercepted by the Big Blue. Trying to get Hamby. Hamby was open behind his defender, but the ball just hung up in the air.
Mikkel Neal, the 3rd of the 4 freshmen on the back end of this defense for the Big Blue, and Camilleri just hung it out there. Not enough zip on the ball. Mikhail Neal able to get under it and make a play and turn away Elmhurst once again.
So another interception. The two teams have traded picks so far today. 2 for each team. So Millikin will take over with 1 minute and 1 minute and 2 seconds. Elmhurst does have 2 timeouts to work with here, Tony, so it's interesting to see what they'll do with them if they can keep the Big Blue pinned in and try to get one more possession back. Here's a handoff to Dunning. Dunning angling to the far sideline, slips one tackle and shoved out of bounds by Charlie Roberts as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Well, you got to keep it screwed on if you're on the defense here. Dunning is able to break him as that time he bounces out a simple ISO play, able to pick up big yardage, and now it kind of flips the field for you with 56.5.
I say he stepped out before crossing the 20 at the 19-yard line.
3 timeouts remain for the Big Blue.
1st and 10 for Millikin. Pippin hands off to Dunning. Dunning hit near the line, fights his way forward across the 20.
Well, I think you got to like the effort of your defense here today if you're the Big Blue. Going into halftime, only allowing 13 points on the road. It's a defense we mentioned last in the nation in defense on the year. I think you take a 6-point deficit into the half.
Dunning again trying to push his way forward here. And now the Blue Jays will take a timeout on 3rd down with 27 seconds to go. Maybe set up a return, possibly.
Coach Adam will make them at least run it again and then have to punt the ball out, probably give a little pressure on the punter and possibly give Ritter another shot. But I like Coach Adam here, forcing Millikin to play all 30 minutes.
I think he said 31 seconds, I believe. They're going to reset the game clock to.
And Millikin has just kind of hung around. These young corners and safeties have come up with some big plays, big turnovers. Managed just the one really spectacular drive, the 7-pointer that you see on the scoreboard now for Millikin. But unlikely effort here for the defense of the Big Blue. And Blue Jays have got to find a way to move the ball more consistently and take care of the football in the second half.
So 31 seconds. Elmhurst down to their last timeout now in the half. They lead at 13-7. Millikin facing a 3rd down.
Do you like running the football here and just punting here, Kevin?
Possibly here. Not a lot of time to work with here if you're Elmhurst to get the ball back, and Blue Jays have struggled to move it through the air. Pippin, nope, he will throw it out to the far sideline. He's got a 1st down before being chased out of bounds. That's Kafad, I believe, the man who pulled it in.
They marked him short here, Kevin. And he's out of bounds, so it saves a timeout for the Blue Jays. Just a tick under 25 seconds to go, and they're short about a yard.
Yeah, needed to get to the 29, and they're going to spot him down to the 28.
And you can't go for it here. I know you got Dunning and a big, hefty offensive line, but you got to punt the football. Blue Jays will bring some pressure here. And Ritter's been pretty good in the return game. So a chance here for the Blue Jays to make a little noise before the half.
Well, Acunis on to punt again. Ritter back deep. He's going to wait near his 30-yard line. Millikin is kicking with the wind. 24.9 seconds. Elmhurst will have 1 timeout to work with. And now a flag comes in here. Delay game.
Well, nice call on 3rd down to get the fullback out in the flat. Poor effort to not know where the sticks are. Now you've got 24 seconds here. The always dangerous return game.
24.9 seconds still on the clock. Here's the snap. Punt is away. It's a good one. Ritter backing up inside the 30. He will take it from the 27. Ritter tries to get around one man, and he is tripped up and taken down. Elmhurst will take over 1st and 10 at their own 33.
Yep, and you got to tuck it in your back pocket here and go to half, up 13-7 with just under 15.
Expect maybe just a handoff here, and that's about it. And be content, like you said, take a 6-point lead into the locker room at the half.
Well, number 5's always a threat to take it to the distance here. Safeties are about 15 yards, so a little space to work for Williams as they decide to put it in his belly.
Camilleri will take the snap, and he'll just hand it right off to Williams. Williams tripped up as he got across midfield, or excuse me, across the 35. Watson was there. And that will do it for the opening half. Clock winds down to 0. There's the horn. So we have reached halftime. Elmhurst leads it 13-7 over Millikin. We will step away. We will come back for the call of the second half, give you some first half numbers as well. Blue Jays leading Millikin 13-7 at the half. You're watching Elmhurst College football on BlueJayTV.com. getting set for the start of the second half of action. Elmhurst and Millikin. Blue Jays leading the Big Blue at the half 13-7. Kevin Jude, along with Tony Menestra. Glad you could join us here on BlueJayTV.com as Elmhurst. Tony doing a decent job so far in the first half, 168 yards of offense. Millikin, the defense limiting Millikin to just 119. Blue Jays have had to settle for a couple of field goals and a couple of late turnovers costly to the Blue Jays as they were knocking on the doorstep.
Yeah, two turnovers apiece for the Big Blue and the Elmhurst Jays, but the two for the Blue Jays seem to weigh much heavier. Some positive-looking drives and then turned away by two young secondary members of the Big Blue. Big plays by Millikin to keep him in the game here. Just a 6-point game as we open the third quarter.
Olbert's kick is going to sail into the end zone and out of bounds. It'll be a touchback for the Blue Jays.
Well, really an uneven first half for the Blue Jays on offense. Had some good things cooking on the ground. 19 carries for 102 yards. Josh Williams, the big breakaway run, he had 85 in the first half. But again, the offense has struggled to move the ball through the air. Just 5 of 14 passing was Joe Camilleri in the first half, 66 yards. He did have the touchdown to Chase Hamby. But again, two really forced interceptions deep into the red zone. Turned away the Jays on 2 scoring chances. So we'll see if Camilleri can get it going here in the second half.
So Camilleri works out of the pistol again. Receivers to each side. Here is a handoff to Josh Williams. Up the middle he goes. Slips one tackle out across the 30-yard line before he's brought down.
On the other side of the football, Kevin, a positive effort from Millikin on defense. They come in, we've mentioned it many times, struggling defensively this year. They have 9 underclassmen on that side of the football.
Pickup of 6 for Josh Williams.
But they've managed to hold Elmhurst to 168 yards and force 2 turnovers. So a really positive effort in the first half for the Millikin defense.
Camilleri getting set. Lines up the Blue Jay offense. Double tight ends to his left shoulder.
No deep safety for Millikin.
He will hand it off again to Williams. Williams changes directions. Up the middle he goes. He puts his head down. He's got a first down out across the 35, nearing the 38.
Well, the 2 young corners, Joannis Edwards and Trayvon Hawkins, locked up on the outside receivers. The other 9 defenders for the Millikin on that play down inside the box. So really committing to taking away the running game of the Blue Jays.
7 yards for Josh Williams. Give Watson another tackle as he tripped him up. Receivers split out to each sideline one more time for the Blue Jays. Camilleri looks back, calls out the play to Williams. He will take the snap. Gives it again to Josh Williams. 3rd carry in a row for the Blue Jays to start the second half as Williams angles behind his right side, and he is tripped up across the 40-yard line.
Williams being patient in that zone game, allowing his blocks to develop. Testing the right side of the Blue Jays. Again, Adam Smith not available today. Archer Winberg, the right tackle, setting the edge.
Rosner and Vavick on the stops for the Big Blue. Sanfilippo comes out near sideline. Hamby split out to the far side for the Blue Jays. Double tight end look to the left, to the near sideline. Camilleri takes the snap, looking to pass. He's going deep down the far sideline for Hamby, and he's just overthrew him.
Camilleri just trying to drop it in a bucket there. One-on-one coverage. The senior, Chase Hamby, against number 34, Joannis Edwards, the freshman on the far side of the field. Camilleri just overshot him there a little bit.
3rd and 7 for the Blue Jays.
3rd down has been a struggle for both teams today. 1 of 9 for Millikin at the end of the first half and just 2 of 8 for Elmhurst. See if they can turn it around here. Spread look now for the Jays as Claxton comes out to the hash.
Elmhurst 3 receiver look. Now they'll start. Casper's in motion. Here's a draw up the middle to Williams. Williams is tripped up near the 45, very close to the first down, depends on the spot.
Charging forward, a little wham play as they bring the tight end across the formation to block the defensive end. Inside give to Williams. Conservative call, but number 5 is able to move the sticks. Just enough to get to the 48.
They haven't moved the sticks yet. Now they're moving it. Give Williams 7 more yards on the play. He's closing in on 100 yards, probably over it now, I believe. He had 85 at the half.
Well, it's been a back-by-committee type of season for the Blue Jays, but Williams clearly arriving as the front runner in the backfield here, as he's been featured back on this drive.
Receiver split to each side one more time for Elmhurst. Camilleri will take the snap. Quick turn, fires to Deagle on the near sideline. Deagle tries to shake his way free, spins forward across midfield before he's tackled by the cornerback.
Well, Jeff Deagle's a decent-sized dude, 6'2", 208, just a little one-on-one move there. Another nice play. Again, these freshman corners are very impressive. Got a lot of years ahead of him, and they're cutting their teeth here in CCIW football, playing very well early.
Edwards gets the tackle for the Big Blue. Pick up 3 for Deagle. 2nd and 7, Elmhurst, the clock rolling, 11:40 to go. Camilleri takes a snap, running the option, going to keep it himself as he cuts back across midfield. Give him about a yard before he's met and tackled by Deeds Menzel on the play.
Adam Rosner, the defensive end that time, was the read for Camilleri. Slow played the speed option, and Camilleri cut it up underneath to pick up positive yardage. A 3rd and manageable now for the Blue Jays, 3rd and 6.
Similar time, they've run on it a few times. Josh Williams got the first down the last time. Let's see what they do here.
Well, now we're starting to see a 4-down look for Millikin as they're walking down a defensive lineman.
Receivers to each side. Camilleri will take the snap. He is throwing. Pumps, goes over the middle. He's got Claxton. First down and more. Claxton out across the 40, nearing the 37-yard line. He's tripped up by Edwards on the play.
Simple spot route by Claxton, the tight end, working against the linebackers, and Camilleri finds him. Just a pitch and catch to move the sticks.
Put it down to the 37, picks up 11 on the play, and an Elmhurst first down, their 12th of the game. Blue Jays converting on 3rd down for the 4th time in 10 tries, Tony.
Good little rhythm here in the offense, 2 third-down conversions. I like the run-pass combination here the Jays have shown.
Camilleri takes a snap, give it to the first man through up the middle. I think that's Claxton. Claxton out across the 35 to the 34-yard line.
Blue Jays continue to grind away on the ground here on 1st down, setting themselves up in manageable positions.
Give him 4 yards. 2nd and 6. The Blue Jays just plugging away, averaging 5 yards per play. 42 plays, 210 yards so far of offense for the Blue Jays. And running a whole lot of clock here to start the 3rd quarter. Camilleri will take the snap. Option play again, going to keep it himself. Across 30, 25, and he's tripped up there. Not before he's got another first down for the Blue Jays. As it was T.J. Sullivan, the man who brought down Camilleri.
Well, the Big Blue using 5 defensive linemen at times here in the second half, looking to throttle down that running game for the Blue Jays.
Something we didn't see here from Elmhurst at all in the first half, Tony. The option was not in the playbook at all in the first half. Seen it a couple times, and that one with good success for Camilleri. Spezia split out to the far side. Deagle to the near side for the Blue Jays. Camilleri will simply hand it off to Williams. Williams sprinting out to the far sideline. Steps over one man. Cuts back. Look at the hole by Williams. 10, 5. Williams diving for the end zone. Touchdown. What a great run by Josh Williams, Tony. He was about to be tackled near the line of scrimmage. Hurdles over one man. Cuts away from the other. And turns it into a nice 23-yard touchdown run.
Well, last year we knew Josh Williams had a ton of physical ability, and he had to learn behind his older brother, Scotty Williams, but he learned how to run the football. He has natural ability and power and speed, but his vision has really improved, and how to read the blocks he learned from his older brother, and that time showing off his wide array of skills, cutting it back, using some power, a little speed to get to the outside, and great vision by number 5 to get the touchdown.
David Thomas on to attempt the point after for the Blue Jays. Out of the hold of Pincus, here's the snap. Placement made. Kick by Thomas is on its way and good.
Big-time drive for the Jays, Kev.
That's how you open a drive, Tony. 11 plays, 75 yards in just under 6 minutes. 5 minutes and 54 seconds to be exact. But they take the ball off the opening kickoff and march downfield and punch it home after Josh Williams with a very nice run in from 23 yards.
Give credit to Coach Derrickson and this offensive staff to keep the heads up of this offensive attack unit here. Some disappointing ends to drives in the first half. Coming out here in the second half looking charged up. Great drive by the Blue Jays.
So Elmhurst leading at 20-7. Take a look at where Josh Williams is on the day now for the Blue Jays. 19 carries, 131 yards for him. Career high day so far for the Blue Jays sophomore.
Even more impressive is he's doing it without a passing attack, so there's no balance right now for the Blue Jays, and Williams is still able to make a difference.
Bayer's kick is taken by Blakely from the 15, out across the 25, nearing the 30. He's knifed underneath and dropped down. Did the ball pop loose? Sure looked like it was blown dead. I think there was this little scrum after the play.
Billy Viero came in and laid a shoulder. Looks like the referee's quick to point towards the far side of the field. It'll be Millikin ball here. And a big drive for them early in the game.
Viero in on the stop for the Blue Jays. Millikin will take over. It's going to be about their own 36-yard line when they put the ball down.
So it was the first half that the Millikin offense really saw one impressive drive, their lone scoring drive of the game. 9 first downs, just 65 yards on 19 attempts for Millikin, and just 54 yards on the air. So a steady effort by the Blue Jays on defense. See if they can keep it up.
Put the ball down at the 33-yard after the return by Blakely. 3 receivers all lined up to the far sideline. Play action, rolling out, and he skips that one into Blakely as Pippin had a little bit of pressure, had Charlie Roberts bearing down on him a little bit, and short-armed that one, Tony.
In the first half, the youngster Pippin, 8 of 18, the 2 picks, just 54 yards like we mentioned. But Millikin star Sean Dunning, 16 carries, bottled up for 49 yards. Kept out of the end zone. He had that 120-yarder. So 15 carries on 29 yards on the other carries.
Dunning from the Wildcat will take the snap, and he is going to be swallowed up immediately. Stood up and driven back by half the Blue Jays line. Saw George DeMaria, Nate Riffle among 2 of the Blue Jays in on the play.
The Blue Jays play undersized. They really value speed on defense, but they are really flexing their muscles and getting underneath the pad level of this very large offensive line for Millikin. Great effort.
Loss of 1 on the play. Dunning is shoved back. 3rd and 11 for the Big Blue as the clock rolls to 8:25 left in the third quarter. Pippin with all kinds of time. Now he's going to roll out, angling to the far sideline, throwing for Blakely, and he leads him too far. Incomplete, and the Blue Jay defense hold, and we'll get the ball back.
Well, for the 3rd time today, they ran the 5-wide look and tried to bring C.J. Baker, the trail receiver, underneath the linebackers. Great job, great adjustments by the defensive coaches for the Blue Jays. They looked up number 81. Pippin had to come off him, just had to scramble and wasn't able to make a play.
Back out to punt is Licanus. Punting with the wind, had several good ones in the opening half, and here's a low liner. It's going to bounce at the 25. Ritter will scoop it up at the 20, sheds 1 tackler, still on his feet, and now hit from behind by Edwards where he's tackled.
Ritter, the junior out of Naples, Florida.
Do have a flag on the play, Tony, on the far sideline. Let's see, near the 25. Ritter only got it back to about the 22. This one looks like it's going to be against the Blue Jays.
As good as the special teams have been this year and in this game, some mistakes in the return unit for the Blue Jays, twice now called for illegal blocks in the punt return. A good-looking drive to start this half for the Blue Jays. Ground game looking strong. Camilleri was on point.
Still haven't put that ball down. Then it will come down at the 12-yard line. So 8 minutes, 2 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter. Elmhurst will take over deep in their own territory. Came out, had an impressive drive to start. See how they do on their second of the second half. Handoff. This one is going to Smith. Smith stiff arm out across the 15-yard line before he's spun down. Michael Neal in on the stop.
Great little cut by Tyler Smith. Dipped his shoulder inside on the zone cut, but Neal tracked him down. Neal kind of plays a kind of an open position. He's listed as a safety here, but in this game, because of the running game of the Blue Jays, he's been kind of a rover. Sniffing out the zone play that time.
Give him 5. Short 5, long 6. Set up for a second down for the Blue Jays. Motion from Claxon. He gives to Claxon up the middle. Claxon across the 20 near the 21. Probably about a yard or so shy, I think.
Very encouraged to see this offensive line really coming together against a defense that has struggled to stop the run. And a Big Blue player is down on the ground as we see it out about the 25-yard line.
That's Jim Vavick, the linebacker, shaken up on the play, in on the tackle, but gets up under his own power and trots off. Good sign. Actually, they're going to spot it to the 22, so they are going to credit Elmhurst for a first down. That's the Blue Jays' 15th of the game now, Tony. Elmhurst over the 250-yard mark of total offense. They had 168, closing in on 100 yards in the second half. Millikin just 118. Millikin has lost a yard on their only possession so far today, or in the second half, rather. They had 119 in the half and -1 so far. Camilleri takes a snap. This is a give to Smith. Smith with a hole. Smith, 35-40. Smith across midfield, 50 to the near sideline, 45-40, and taken down from behind by Hawkins. But a big run by Smith, and Elmhurst is in business again.
Offensive line is rolling now. Great cut by Smith, cutting back against the grain. Got a nice block from Will Caspers, and you saw Smith switch the hand at the end of the play. Very instinctive. Big play to turn field position over for the Jays, and now that offensive line is asking for the running game even more as Coach Derrickson calls in the play to Camilleri.
41 yards for Tyler Smith on the run. 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays from the Big Blue 37. Receivers to each side for Elmhurst again, and Camilleri. Smith, the lone man in the backfield for Elmhurst. 6:15, quick screen pass to Hamby, and Hamby just drops it.
Boy, just not stepping through the flow, and Camilleri just doesn't look comfortable back there.
That one was right to Hamby. The screen was set up immediately, and Hamby just couldn't handle that one. So it'll be 2nd and 10 as the sun trying to peek its way through the clouds for one of the first times that it's been mostly cloudy skies all day long. Now it was there, and now it's gone.
Blue Jays, Kevin, have already exceeded their season average for yardage in a game.
Camilleri will take the snap. He will give a play action. Didn't fool his defender, but he sheds a tackle, and now he's dropped from behind. Sacked by Watkins. He got away from Rossner, but Watkins there to clean him up.
Well, just as we see the Blue Jays start to get something rolling on the ground, they come back with 2 pass plays early in the series, kind of getting away from their personality. Sets them up with a 3rd and long, hamstringing themselves here.
Third and 14 will be the distance for the Blue Jays. Smith still the lone man in the backfield for the Blue Jays. Slot to the far side of the field with Claxon split out in the slot. Hamby to the near sideline for Elmhurst. With time, turns, fires, looking for Hamby, and just could not get hands on that one. A little bit too far, incomplete, and it's 4th down for the Blue Jays.
Well, you got to punt it here. 4th and long and 5:20 to go. You're up 2 scores. Defense has been playing very well.
Blue Jays, like you said, Tony, getting it done on the ground so far. 31 carries, 210 yards on the ground. 7 of 19 for 80 yards through the air.
Well, it's been their personality. Difficult to understand why they went away from it there. 3 consecutive passes and then a punt.
Again, the sun starts to shine here at Langhorse Field as Bayer will take the snap and bang this one into the wind. Blakely immediately signals for a fair catch, and he coughs it up, but does fall on it and recover.
Millikin will be buried now at about the 10-yard line. unable to get anything cooking here on offense. Dunning has really been locked down. Still under 50 yards on the day for the dynamic running back for the Big Blue.
Josh Williams for Elmhurst. Talked about his good day, 131 yards on the ground, 38 through the air as well. Closing in on 180 yards total offense for the day.
And you're not getting at the point in the game where you have to panic if you're the Big Blue. You still have plenty of time, but the young quarterback is going to need to test the back end of this secondary and start pushing the ball deeper down the field.
There's a handoff to Dunning. Dunning puts his head down and plows forward. Brought down at the 14 after a 4-yard pickup.
Heavy look here for Millikin. They come to their 2 tight end, 2 back look, power I formation.
Pippen takes a snap, give it to Dunning up the middle again. Couple more yards, but they're just not. Dunning has not been able to really just break one off so far today, Tony.
Well, that big offensive line, they go behind Parker Kelly and Brad Rucker on the right side, 2 seniors, unable to create a crease for Dunning, and it's 3rd and short.
Spotted at the 18. Pippen, play action, going to pass for it on 3rd down. Flushed out of the pocket, being chased, throws to the far sideline, and that one into the Millikin stands. You talked about play calling, Tony, and I don't understand that one. On 3rd and 2, they try to catch the Blue Jays off guard, and Elmhurst had it snuffed out immediately.
Well defended by the Blue Jays. A lot of credit to the defensive staff for the Jays. They've been schooled up really well this week, and I agree with you, Kevin. 3rd and 1, the best player on your team is in the backfield. Let him decide your fate. Instead, it's Nick Pippen, a freshman quarterback, throwing the football away, and they'll have to punt it back.
It's a play action that the Blue Jays just did not bite on, and they were in the backfield, and that just forced Pippen to roll out and toss that one away. Here's a snap. The Blue Jays coming after it. Almost got a piece of it. That hits a Millikin up man, and now it's scooped up by the Blue Jays. Right near midfield. Let's see where they put it down. It'll be Elmhurst taking over with great field position once again. And one of the up men for Millikin shaken up. Looks like the Blue Jays will take over at their own, or at the Millikin 48-yard line, as we'll stop the clock with Millikin, the Millikin player, shaken up. So the clock is at 3:59, just under 4 minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
We'll take the time out to bring to your attention the pink socks and the pink spats you see on the Blue Jays here. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, certainly, and it's our recognition day here at Langhorse Field. Kevin, breast cancer is the 2nd leading cause of cancer death in women. In 2013, an estimated 40,000 women will die from breast cancer. There'll be an estimated 230,000 new cases in 2013, but some advancements have been made. 2.8 million survivors living in the United States, and rates have been dropping steadily since 2000. Early diagnosis, awareness, medical advances. The Blue Jays doing their best here today to bring awareness to the cause.
Michael Deeds Menzel, the player who was shaken up for the Big Blue, getting helped off by the Millikin training staff. He's not putting a lot of pressure at all on that left leg.
Kevin, it's estimated that 1 in 8 women will be affected by breast cancer at some point in their lives. Certainly we all have sisters and mothers and grandmothers and friends. We're all touched in some way, so.
Elmhurst football team in their pink attire, like you said, the pink tape and the pink socks, as it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Blue Jay volleyball team had a Think Pink Day, wearing the pink T-shirts in the warm-ups as well. A lot of the Elmhurst teams will do that over the course of the season, supported. The basketball teams have their own game and as well later in the season. Elmhurst offense back in going here as Camilleri will keep it himself. Tackled as he gets out across the 45 by Rosner, and another Big Blue player shaken up.
It's Connor Flood, one of the few upperclassmen in the front 4 of this defense. He's a senior, 6'2", 240, and his helmet's already off right there on the shield. Some injuries piling up for the Big Blue.
It's a 3-yard pickup for Camilleri on the keeper, and Hate to see injuries mounting. Like we said, we've seen several. Anthony Beltrano was shaken up earlier in the first half for the Blue Jays. He did not return. Don't think we'll see him coming back in today after he was being iced up. And a couple of big Blue players have been knocked out so far today, and another one down on the field right now. 347. Look at the numbers here. We'll look at the offensive numbers right now for the Blue Jays. Tony, 51 plays, 293 yards. Almost all of that coming on the ground. 32 carries, 213 yards. 7 of 19 through the air for 80 yards. Millikin, 43 plays, 126 yards. The Blue Jays winning the time of possession battle in a whopping way right now. 24 minutes to just 17 minutes for the Big Blue.
2 long drives turned away because of turnovers. Otherwise, this game would be much further out of hand.
Yeah, this could be, it's right now a 2-possession game. Could easily be a 3 or 4-possession game or a 4-score game, as Elmhurst was intercepted twice inside the 5-yard line. Other scores from around the CCIW. We're keeping our eye on the Illinois Wesleyan and Wheaton game in the third quarter. It's Illinois Wesleyan 16, Wheaton 13. Battle of 2 top 25 teams.
Well, as a Wheaton team we saw a week ago, slow to get going against the Blue Jays. Led 7-0 for a long portion of that game and really broke it open late in the second half.
Player still shaken up for Millikin as they'll continue to work on him right at midfield. Games around the CCIW today. We've got North Central in action, hosting, I believe, Carthage College, and Augustana in action tonight. That's going to be under the lights out in Rock Island.
Well, Blue Jays last week having to deal with Wheaton. The week before, they got that aforementioned Augustana team out in Rock Island. Tough place to play a game. The west side of the state.
Check in on the North Central Carthage game here. Take a look. As they were a late start today, Tony, and early in the second quarter, North Central is just burying Carthage, 34-0.
Goodness gracious!
And they've only played 18 minutes of that game so far.
Well, certainly the fate of the CCIW will be decided here in these coming weeks, as North Central will get cracks at both Wheaton and Wesleyan here coming up.
Those are the big 3, the last of the 3 undefeateds in the CCIW standings. All 3 of them nationally ranked. CCIW, we talked about earlier, well represented in the polls, both the AFCA and the D3Football.com poll. North Central a top 10 team. Wheaton just outside of that. Illinois Wesleyan a top 20 team as well.
Taking care of business in the non-conference. I mean, North Central really challenged themselves, played 3 Wisconsin League teams, ran through that 3-0. Wheaton a little bit lighter in their non-conference. But between those 3 big ones at the top of the conference, very well represented. And we saw 2 teams last year, Kevin, in Elmhurst and in North Central make the playoffs. Is there a chance for 3?
It is possible. I think the key for 3, Tony, is to make sure that you run the table in the non-conference. You can get through with a loss. 2 losses is going to be tough. If all 3 teams took a loss and you finish collectively at a 9-1, it's very possible that you can get all 3.
Yep.
If, however, one team runs the table and one team finishes 9-1, then you're talking about another team finishing 8-2. Going to be a lot harder for that team with 2 losses to get in, as opposed to the one undefeated and who would be the automatic qualifier from the CCIW.
Just a handful of, unlike for example, the March Madness basketball look in Division I, not as many open seeds as you might think. There's a lot of automatic qualifiers. So only so much space for those non-automatic bids.
I believe there were 9, I wanted to say, last year for us. Elmhurst was one of the first teams snatched up last year, getting in an at-large bid.
Well, it doesn't look good here for Millikin.
And the Millikin player getting to his feet now. He's going to get a hand. That's Connor Flood getting helped off.
Well, Elmhurst,
he's not putting any pressure. He is literally being carried off the field by his teammates, not putting any pressure down at all on either leg. We're now trying to put a little bit on the right. That left leg clearly bothering Connor Flood. Hope he's okay.
Well, Elmhurst has got to keep at it here, certainly losing one of their senior leaders And the front end of that defense gets even a little bit softer here now for the Big Blue. And the run game has been working on all cylinders here in the second half for the Blue Jays.
So it's 2nd and 7. We'll reset now with 3:50 left in the third quarter. Andrew Tubeck, the man in the backfield now for the Blue Jays. Camilleri with receivers to each side. Let's see if he just hands off to Tubeck. Nope, Claxton goes in motion. He will take the handoff up the middle, and he has stood up immediately after just a very short gain.
Terrific effort that time on a second down play for Millikin. A little bit outmanned in their front seven now, as they'll turn to some youngsters to look for some plays to slow down this running game for the Blue Jays.
3rd and 6 for Elmhurst. Receivers once again to each side. Sanfilippo split to the far side. Hamby down to the near side for the Blue Jays. Tubeck, the lone man in the backfield once again for Elmhurst. Camilleri will take the snap. Pressure coming from Millikin. The line holds for the Blue Jays. Pass complete to Claxton, and Claxton is dropped immediately. Very nice tackle by the Big Blue. I think that was Vavick coming up to make the stop.
Saw Mikhail Neal come in flying to the football as well. Really great play. Claxton had a one-on-one look out there. Blue Jays picked up the pressure pretty well. Camilleri put it on Claxton, but a great tackle.
They're going to put it to the Millikin 42. 4th and 4. And Greg Bayer will put it punt away for the Blue Jays. Blakely stands back near his own 10. Bayer, high pop into the air. Blakely sprinting up, will take it just at the 20-yard line, calls for the fair catch.
Swiftly moving third quarter, Kevin. We're already at 2:08 to go here.
A little slowed down, I think, by some of the injuries so far,
Yep.
as we're closing in on just after 3 o'clock right now.
Well, you have to look to Pippin, the young quarterback here, to try to force the ball a little bit more. Dunning has really been bottled up this afternoon. You're down 2 scores. But the Blue Jay defense has been opportunistic. Show a penchant for turnovers.
Pippin takes a snap. Play action. Rolling. Being chased now by Roberts. He steps up and he dives forward out near the line of scrimmage, where he's tripped up by Elmhurst, and that was Eddie Bayer in on the tackle.
Eddie Bayer, a youngster, a freshman, getting some meaningful snaps here this Saturday. The defensive line's been pretty stout, Kevin. Of course, we know about Charlie Roberts, but Bayer now and Chris Reed and Judici.
Give him a yard on the keeper. 2nd and 9 for Millikin. 3 receivers, all to the far sideline. Here's a handoff up the middle, and Brooks is swallowed up. Nowhere to go as the Elmhurst defensive line is there again. Bayer in on the stop for the Blue Jays, and Roberts.
And in comes the joker package for the Blue Jays. It's a 4-man swap as they look to bring pressure on 3rd and long.
So back them up 2 more yards, back to the 19-yard line. So for 3rd and 11 now for the Big Blue as we hit 1:05 left to go in the third quarter. 4 receivers, trips to the near sideline. Elmhurst showing a little pressure. Are they going to come with the blitz? They back off on the far side. Ritter's blitzing on the outside. Pippin steps up, and he just dropped it. Mike Blakely wide open across the sticks. He had the first down at the 35, and he just flat out dropped it, Tony.
He sure did. Number 1, Blakely across the middle, the junior. Ran a little dig route, got in front of the safety, beat man-to-man coverage.
It's a very nice play by Pippin. Got away from the pressure, felt
Climbed
it
the
coming,
pocket, sure.
Stepped right up in the play, and found his open receiver, and Brooks just couldn't hold the handle.
Very frustrating that time for the Big Blue on offense.
Millikin on to punt again. A line drive into the wind. Ritter bobbles it at the 40, but he recovers. Falls on it immediately and tackled immediately on the play by Edwards. Elmhurst will take over at their own 43.
Ritter, a usually very sure-handed return guy, cracked the window open just a little bit there for the Big Blue, but able to swarm over the football and keep it with the Blue Jays with 47 seconds to go in the third period.
The Blue Jays will take over with 47.7 seconds in the third quarter.
Well, plenty of new faces in the front line for the Big Blue as injuries have swept through their defensive front this afternoon.
Camilleri will take the snap. Here is a handoff. This is Josh Williams. Williams trying to turn the corner, 45, now cuts back across midfield before he's tackled from behind near the Millikin 45. Slowed down, and Michael Neal in on the stop.
Great read by Josh Williams. Getting bottled up between the tackles and able to bounce outside. A nice little seal block by Garrett Claxon to spring him free.
Give him 11 yards on the carry. He is having himself one heck of a day.
Keep feeding him the rock here.
Clock going to roll down to 23 seconds. They will have to take one more snap before the third quarter. Play clock, game clock, about a 7-second difference. Handoff goes again to Williams. Up the middle he goes and runs into the heart of the linebacking core, but not before he picks up about 4 more. Making the stop on the play was Sullivan, but Blue Jays will have it at the Millikin 42, a 4-yard pickup, and that is how the third quarter comes to a close. Elmhurst leading this one 20-7, Tony.
Grinding it out, too, just like Joe Adam and the offense like to do it. BCM is what they say, Kevin. It's the blue-collar mentality, and it bleeds through the philosophy of the offense and the defense here, really grinding it out. Blue-collar effort this afternoon.
Elmhurst looking at the numbers now through 3 quarters, Tony. Blue Jays with 311 yards of total offense, 55 plays. Millikin just 125 yards. Just 6 in the third quarter is all Elmhurst gave up to the Big Blue on just 9 plays.
Well, an already bad defense can't get any breaks here this afternoon. As some youngsters now are filtering in for the defensive line. And now it's the ground game that's going to take over for the Blue Jays. Up 2 scores, just 15 minutes to go. You've got to think they'll continue to go to Josh Williams and Tuback and Smith and continue to pound it at this young defensive line.
Look at the way this time of possession advantage has shifted to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays had a 15-19 to 14-41 at the half. In the third quarter, Tony, they controlled the ball for over 11 minutes in the third quarter.
Wow.
They have a time of possession advantage of 26-41 to 18-19. Over 8 minutes of a time of possession advantage in the third quarter alone.
3 and outs, right, for Millikin in the third quarter?
Millikin did not have a first down in the third quarter. They had 9 at the half. They have 9 right now.
So 1 of 12 on third down are the Big Blue. Goodness gracious.
So 2nd and 6. Elmhurst now going to move left to right to finish up this contest in the fourth quarter. Camilleri, here's a handoff. Williams sprinting out to the far side. Stiff arm, changes directions, spins over. His knee did not touch down, and heads up alert running by Josh Williams. Knew his knee hadn't touched down, so he figured he'd try to vault over him, get another yard on the spot.
He's a violent runner. Runs a little bit with a different style than Scotty. Scotty was a little smoother, used his vision, cut very well. Josh Williams is a little bit more physical in his running style and likes to create contact that time, rolling over a linebacker.
Give Josh 2 yards on the play.
Big play here. Still just a 13-point game with a full quarter to go ahead of you. Got to convert here.
Williams in the backfield. He will take the handoff again, sprinting out to the near sideline. Millikin trying to string it out and taken down from behind. Stopped short of the first down. Good pursuit by Sullivan to make the tackle.
Nice job by the Millikin defense, stringing it out like you mentioned, Kevin, and an interesting call here for the coaching staff.
I was going to say, is this 4-down territory here, a 3-yard pickup? It's about 4th and 1 from the Millikin 37.
Well, you just mentioned that Millikin did not manage a first down in the third quarter. Do you punt him back and force him to go the length of the field?
I have a feeling with the wind here to you and you're moving with the wind, I think they're going to go for it here, and that's exactly what they're keeping the offense on the field as Coach Adam.
Camilleri may need to get a timeout here as they're under 5 seconds now on the play clock.
4 seconds. I don't know if they see it just yet. 2 seconds. They do get the snap off. Camilleri going to keep it himself. Hit in the backfield.
I don't think he got it.
I don't think he got it. He tries to stretch forward, but he's short. He stopped from behind.
Really nice play by Millikin. A lot of confidence now brewing on their sideline as you see the defense welcome to the sideline by the offense and the coaching staff. That could have just lit a fire under this visiting team who was kind of sleepwalking through the second half.
So the Blue Jays stopped. Rosner was there. Vavick was there for the Big Blue. And they only got back to the line of scrimmage, so they will turn it over on downs. Millikin takes over, 14:04 left to go. So Pippin will walk under center this time. Been working out of the shotgun most of the day. Elmhurst creeping up, showing blitz. And now Pippin will adjust and recall from the line. Here is a handoff to Dunning. Dunning just tripped himself, loses his footing, and Charlie Roberts fell on top of him to finish it off for the Blue Jays.
Dunning just unable to get unleashed here. Blue Jays have had a target on his chest all day today. And
well, you know things aren't going well when the turf monster gets you that time, and that's really all it was. He just tripped on his own feet that time, and Roberts was there to clean him up. They'll try it again. Here's Dunning up the middle he goes, and taken down from behind again by the Blue Jays. In on the stop, Caleb Steffens there for Elmhurst. Wrapped him up around the feet.
Well, backside of the power play, they pull the backside guard. Steffens able to sneak in behind there and make a play, set up a 3rd and long.
Millikin looking for their first down of the second half. They've been 3 and out each of the first 3 times in the third quarter that they had the ball. Pippin going to take it himself on the draw, trying to get a block from the official almost. Runs up towards midfield, and he's going to be very close depending on the spot here.
Well, here we are again with another interesting call. They'll move the sticks. No measurement.
No measurement? They'll give him the first down.
Huh. Well, positive effort there for Millikin. Gets a first down for the first time in the second half.
So first down for Pippin as the 7-yard keeper. High formation in the backfield. Double tight end look again. Here's a handoff to Dunning. They're trying to run him behind the fullback. Gets his block. He's pushing his way forward. Still on his feet, and a good run for Dunning, plowing his way down into Elmhurst territory to the Elmhurst 37.
Elmhurst not switching out personnel against this 2 tight end, 2 back set. So Millikin just going to go ahead and put it in the belly of Dunning on the back side of the play. A little power play to gain about 12 yards.
One of his best runs of the day. 16 on the play for Dunning. And another first down. Back-to-back first downs for Millikin. Clock rolling to 12:20 to go. Play action. Pippin looking over the middle. He goes, and that's going to be intercepted by Elmhurst at the 5. It's Ritter again. Excuse me. That's Giles again with another interception. A flag comes flying in on the far side.
Well, a holding on the backside of the play. It's Eliadis, the linebacker. It's not going to matter. The Blue Jays will still maintain possession. The ball will come way back. But a play-action play, getting a little too cute. Dunning had been grinding away big yardage. Coaching staff goes away from it again. We've seen some curious calls here this afternoon. Another big turnover for Pippin, and he has really struggled this afternoon.
10-yard penalty for the illegal block in the back. Let's see where they put the ball down here. They're going to put it down at the 20, so give credit to 21. So give credit for Giles for another 21-yard return.
Pretty good play by the safeties here today. 3 picks between them, is that right?
Yes.
Ritter, Giles, yep. Good effort by the 2 on the back end, and you just got to grind this one out here. Up 2 scores, over 12 minutes to go. Trust your running game in the offensive line.
Camilleri, hands off. Here's Tubeck. Tubeck with a big hole, 30, 35, 40, trying to get to the sideline, and he's across midfield and run out of bounds.
Tubeck, the fastest straight line man on the roster, able to show off his speed there, uncorking the wheels and getting up the far sideline. Big first down for the Blue Jays. And you got to keep it on the ground here. Keep grinding it away against this visiting Millikin team who's now hanging their heads, hand on hips.
So Tubeck, the ball carrier. A big run into Millikin territory to their 48. Camilleri, hand to Tubeck. Tubeck hitting the backfield, spins loose, out across the 45 and dropped near the 44-yard line. He had 31 on the last one. That'll go for a little bit shorter, but it fights his way for about 4 or 5 yards.
Well, the full stable of backs for the Blue Jays are on display this afternoon. Now Tubeck carrying the load here, the senior in the 4th quarter.
Give him 4 more on the day.
That Big Blue defense put it together a good effort here this afternoon. We've mentioned their struggles numerous times throughout the broadcast, but they've been pretty steady. It's been their offense that has really held them back this Saturday.
11:05 left as the clock rolling here. Camilleri out of the gun, hands it to back. He dropped it and then promptly fell on it right at the 49-yard line. So they're going to lose a couple yards on the play. They lose loss of 5. Sets up 3rd and 11 for the Blue Jays with 10.5 minutes.
And the Millikin Big Blue give up over 300 yards a game on the ground. The Blue Jays are getting close to that number.
264 to be precise. In motion goes Caspers, and they're going to get Garrett Claxon here for flinching on a false start.
Moves him back, and it'll stop the clock for the Blue Jays here. The clock just needs to weed down here. Up 2 scores and 10 minutes to go in the game.
So 3rd and long for the Blue Jays, 3rd and 16.
And on 3rd and 16, you got to run draw here or a safe screen. You want to keep the clock moving, not force a turnover.
Camilleri gonna pass, looking, still with time. Now loads up and fires pass complete back across the 40-yard line to Claxon. Bobbled momentarily, but made the catch as Neal dropped him immediately.
Bold call by Coach Derrickson, trusting his quarterback, instilling a little confidence in number 12. Just not quite enough to move the sticks.
14 yards on the pickup, 2 yards shy of the first down, and the Blue Jays will punt.
So you got to protect, pin Millikin back here, force them to go to the length of the field. They still need 2 scores now, under 10 minutes to go in the game.
Bayer will set up for the ball at the 45. Blakely waits for it at his own 10. Blakely will just call for a fair catch. It will bounce at the 3 and roll into the end zone for a touchback.
So as dominant as Elmhurst has been in this game, seemingly the feel of the game has been completely on the home sideline. Just 13 points and a pretty dynamic player in Dunning are still available here.
Game's still in question. It's not over yet.
Yep.
Like you said, when you can have the ability to score points, it's only 2 possessions. Still 9 minutes. A lot can happen. Turnovers, et cetera, et cetera. We've seen several of those today for each team. 5 total in the contest. All interceptions, Tony. Blue Jays throw 2 picks. Millikin's been intercepted 3 times. Here's a handoff to Dunning. Dunning works it to the right side, hit from behind, and dropped down.
Well, he is your most important and impactful offensive player, but I don't know if Dunning running the football at this point in the game is going to get it done. You got to get him out in space, run a little screen pass.
4-yard pickup for Dunning. Jimmy Abbott, the man who got him from behind for the Blue Jays. Here's Pippen, power eye again. Here's Dunning one more time. Up the middle he goes, and he's swallowed up immediately. Maybe a yard on the play.
Conservative approach.
Abbott and Roberts there again for Elmhurst.
Your young quarterback has been responsible for 3 bad turnovers, so perhaps trying to protect him. But with now 8:20 to go and counting, 20-7 Jays, Millikin has got to get something going here.
3 receivers slot to the near sideline for the Big Blue. Dunning behind Pippen as Pippen out of the gun. Pippen takes a snap, looking. He's got time, throws to the near side. He's got his man, Sanders, but he's shoved out of bounds immediately by Carr. Should have the first down, and he does.
Marvin just carrying that inside curl route a little too far. He has to know the down and distance. A little too much space to the number 2 receiver that time, and the little short out route, and an easy throw for Pippen.
Pickup of 8 on the play. Pippen, empty backfield look, fires over the middle. Pass complete across the 40-yard line. C.J. Baker hauls it in.
And you won't see a ton of personnel change here. You're going to see Millikin trying to push the tempo of the game here. Conserve the clock as much as possible. 7:38 and ticking with the clock running.
Ball spotted at the Millikin 41. Pickup of 8. 2nd and 2. Another empty backfield set. Fakes the screen to the one side, now throws to the other side, and it's broken up, knocked away. Trying to set up the screen for Tyler Shoemaker and just led him too far.
Well, Trent Howard, number 17, is lined up at outside linebacker right now. Sniffed that one out pretty well. They've run that screen now a couple of times. Defense is schooled up.
7 minutes, 30 seconds. I formation look again. Here's Dunning. Handed off. Dunning fights his way forward. He has the ball stripped loose. Ball loose on the field. And I think Millikin got it back. I think it was Marvin Carr, the man who put the helmet on the ball again and jarred it loose.
Well, Charlie Roberts comes away with it.
Elmhurst saying they have the ball. Charlie Roberts hands it to the official. They're going to talk about it. And they are going to give it to Millikin.
Well, I don't know how in the world they decide that, but either way, it'll be visitors football, 4th down, and Marvin Carr, the wily senior, in there ripping the football away. And Marvin Carr's known to cause a few fumbles against Millikin late in the game. Had a big one last year.
He's the man who did it last time.
I think the Blue Jays are short on defense. Not sure if they have 11, and they quickly get a timeout.
So Elmhurst gets a timeout before the play was snapped. So Millikin ended up losing several yards on the last play. It was 4th and 6, I believe.
Blue Jays come into today -3 in the turnover margin. Very uncharacteristic of a Joe Adam defense. They stress turnovers. It's a regular part of the language here in the defensive side of the football. And last year, top 10 in the nation in turnover margin.
Elmhurst has a +1 rating on the day, Tony. 3 interceptions for the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have given the ball back through the air twice. Blue Jays have put the ball on the turf 3 times, but recovered each time.
Yep, fortunate bounces for the Blue Jays.
Millikin put it down right here as Carr forced it loose, and all of the Elmhurst fumbles were unforced. Nobody from Millikin forced anything. The Blue Jays just muffed it a couple times, either bad handoffs or just drop balls, but instead it's a 4th down for Millikin. Elmhurst has really limited the Big Blue in the second half, Tony. Just 3 first downs for Millikin in the second half. They had 119 yards. They've got less than 50 yards of offense here, and Millikin going to go for it 4th down and 6 from their own 37-yard line with time running out.
3-by-1 formation. They've typically come back to the one receiver side in a one-on-one look. We'll see if they do that here.
Elmhurst showing blitz. Let's see if they come with it. Takes the snap. Here they come.
And they do.
Hit as he throws, gets his pass completed, and a first down across midfield. Shoemaker pulls it in.
Well, they're testing Mark Evangelista there, just a one-on-one coverage. He's got to get some help from the linebacker underneath that route. They've gone to it all day in big 3rd and 4th down situations. Again, right there.
15-yard pickup, Pippin to Shoemaker, and now Millikin going hurry up with under 7 minutes. Pippin going to keep it himself. Hit in the backfield, and down he goes. Roberts and Bayer there for the Blue Jays.
Little blitz look on first down, out of character for the Blue Jays. They're usually a 3rd down pressure team, but Joe Adam dialing it up on the first down and rattling the young quarterback.
Don't know if that was a design keeper. Originally looked like he was going to drop back and pass, then maybe saw the pressure and decided to bail out, but nonetheless they'll back it up to the Millikin 48. 2nd and 14 now. 4 receivers, slot left, slot right for the Big Blue. Pippin over the middle, dumps it off. He's got his man, and tackled immediately is C.J. Baker.
Miles Hamblin, 6'4" linebacker out of California, Fallbrook. He's in on the Joker package, and Coach Adam is leaving that group out there. This is their pressure look.
3rd and 12 now for the Big Blue after just a short pickup. 4 receivers again, trips to the near sideline. Lone man split out to the far sideline. Pippin looking near side, now pressured. Rainbows that one up there, and that is, did he hit a foot it down? Yes, he did. A fantastic catch on the near sideline by Taylor Sanders.
Well, on the backside of that play, Mark Evangelista completely floored the single receiver. So Pippin had to come back to the 3 receiver side, a little high-low look. Giles mistimed the jump, and Pippin dropped it in the bucket for a first down.
1st and 10, pickup of 23. Pippin back to pass again, looking. Plenty of time over the middle, and that should be pass interference, and it is. Blakely was hammered from behind by the Blue Jays well before the ball got there, as Massey got into his back that time.
Well, Elmhurst and Millikin have played in some good ones in the last few years, and this one's shaping up here late in the contest as Millikin with a furious rally here late. 5:41 to go, but have something cooking here late in the 4th quarter.
Wills Massey into the back of Blakely. Pass interference call. So the Big Blue going to pick up the automatic first down. They'll move that ball down inside the Elmhurst red zone. They'll set up shop at the Elmhurst 14.
A lot of confidence building on the offensive side of the football for the Big Blue.
5 minutes, 41 seconds, all that's left in this contest. Pippin, play action, over the middle. The pass is broken up. Charlie Roberts got the hand on it.
Great play by Charlie, number 55. He's had a day. That one's right out of the North Central playbook in the John Thorne offensive play call. Little pop pass looking for the number 3 receiver in behind the linebackers. Great play by Roberts to disrupt that play.
Pippin takes a snap. Here's a hand up to Brooks, and he's swallowed up from behind. Charlie Roberts there again on his feet.
Not sure if Dunning is shaken up, but interesting that we're not seeing him on the field in this critical possession for the Big Blue.
Millikin pushing it forward down to the Elmhurst 11. Short pickup of 3, but 3rd and long, now 3rd and 7. Got a long 7, short 8. Pippin takes a look at the sideline, gets the play call, comes to the line with 15 seconds, working out of the shotgun. 4 receivers, slot left, slot right for the Big Blue. Pippin looking, still looking, fires over the middle, and did he haul that one in? No, says the official, trying to connect with Blakely. Evangelista went leaping in over the top of Blakely, and almost a great catch by Blakely.
Mark, the senior captain, reading it well, and Blakely dropped a big one earlier in the 3rd quarter. That would have moved the sticks on 3rd down. Now it's 4th down, Kevin, and it's certainly 4-down territory for the Big Blue.
If you're the Big Blue, down 2 scores with just under 5 minutes to go in this contest. 5 receivers. Pippin takes a snap, throws. He's got his man. He's got near the first down. It's going to depend on the spot.
Oh, it's going to take a measurement.
I thought he had it at first, but then when the side judge came in, I'm not so sure.
I don't think he got it, Kev. Big stop by the Blue Jay defense, and Coach Adam pumping his fists in the air on the near sideline.
49.
Huge defensive stand, under 5 minutes to go, and 2-score lead for the Blue Jays. Big Blue is turned away late in the 4th quarter.
So Elmhurst takes over with 4:48 left to go as the Blue Jays stopping Taylor Sanders about a yard shy of the first down, probably even less than that. So Elmhurst takes over as the wind definitely picking up now here at Langhorse Field. Here is a handoff up the middle. And Tubeck has stood up and driven backwards, got back to the original line.
Well, you've got to be very careful to take care of the football here, deep inside your own territory.
Was that Tubeck or that was Tyler Smith, excuse me, the ball carrier?
Well, Millikin using their timeouts here. Patrick Ethington, his 3rd season as the head coach of the Big Blue. Millikin alumni. Electing to use a timeout here. Try to force the ball out of the hands of the Blue Jays and give his team a shot.
Millikin not going away, but the Elmhurst defense made the stop when they needed to. Further score updates here in the CCIW. North Central just battering Carthage. 55-0 at the half in favor of the Cardinals. Illinois Wesleyan Wheaton, they're in the 4th quarter now as well. We've got a great game going on there. The Titans leading right now, 23-19.
We'll get the Augie game a little bit later on. So a good day of football here in the CCIW. You look at last year's matchup, Kevin, it couldn't be any different. 20-7 here at Langhorst. It was 45-42 last year. The teams combined for over 1,000 yards of offense between the two of them.
The last time the winning team scored 20 points or under, 1986, Tony. Or excuse me, 1988, Millikin had 20 points. The Blue Jays, Millikin won with 22 in 2006, but 20 still the top score right now for the Blue Jays. Wind continuing to howl outside. Josh Williams is the running back. He will get the handoff from Camilleri. Williams works out to the left side, still on his feet and finally tripped up. Looked like he went into the pile, and he was one tackle away from breaking that one, Tony.
He was, and Etherton will take another timeout here and force the hand of the offense again. Kev, you want to talk about the importance of senior quarterback play in college football? Last year, these two teams featured two dynamic senior quarterbacks. Joe Furco was 14 of 24 for 164 yards, but Matt Holmes, 28 of 40 for 305 yards.
And Holmes did a lot on the ground there as well, too, I believe. He was this one-man wrecking crew for
27 for 170.
Yeah, so 475 yards of total offense for
Pretty
Matt
good
Holmes
day.
last year.
Do you have him on your fantasy team, your CCIW fantasy team?
Today, last year the two teams went off for over 1,000 yards combined. Today, Blue Jays 64 plays, 363 yards. Millikin 65 plays for 213. A combined 576 yards only today.
A little bit different feel this afternoon.
Elmhurst defense playing well, especially in the second half here, Tony.
Well, you've got one more play here and certainly another timeout by Millikin to try to give themselves a chance. They are down 2 scores, so just simply taking care of the football is all you need to do here. If you can move the sticks, that's gravy, but just simply taking care of the football and not giving Millikin a short field.
Camilleri out of the pistol again. Williams, the lone back for the Blue Jays. Camilleri, play action. He's looking to throw over the middle. He's got Claxon. First down for the Blue Jays. Sheds one tackler and dives out across the 20 before he's taken down by Seaford in the process.
Big time call by Coach Derrickson and the offensive staff, trusting Camilleri, who's struggled today with the football on a huge play here this Saturday afternoon. Great shot by Camilleri on the bootleg, moving the sticks and virtually sealing this thing up.
Did not panic at all as he had some pressure coming there from Millikin as well. Took his time, stepped up, and found a wide open Garrett Claxon for the first down. Elmhurst going to milk this play clock now under 10 seconds. 3:55 left on the game clock. Takes the snap. Here is a handoff to Williams. Williams, up the middle he goes, diving across the 25 before he's taken down.
Well, having burned through timeouts on the last set of plays to try to force the long field, that ticking clock is going to continue to move under 3:30.
Second and 6. 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Play clock again, under 10 seconds to go. They're going to milk it for everything they have right now. 3 seconds, 2 seconds on the play clock. Takes the snap, handoff to Williams. Williams with a hole out across the 28, pushing his way up towards the 30-yard line before he's swallowed up by Seaford again.
Great time and clock management here by Camilleri, able to milk that thing all the way down, like you mentioned, to 2 seconds on the play clock, now under 3 minutes to go. Limiting the possibilities for Millikin, and a 3rd and 2 here.
Millikin out of timeouts. They used their last one. Illinois Wesleyan has scored again. They now lead at 30-19 against Wheaton.
Well, Illinois Wesleyan, coming into last year, thought they had a shot at the CCIW title. Injuries just riddled that roster up and down. And in Game 10 of the season, we got them here at home to clinch the playoffs and the conference championship. But we got a beleaguered roster by Illinois Wesleyan. They're mostly healthy now and really putting it on the Thunder, up 30-19 down in Bloomington.
So Millikin out of timeouts now for the rest of the way.
Decent effort here today for the Millikin defense. They have struggled all year to keep teams out of the end zone, holding Elmhurst to 20 points. Workmanlike effort for the Millikin defense. It's just been a struggle for them to move the football this afternoon.
3 minutes, 2 seconds left. Camilleri with a 3rd and 2 facing the Blue Jays. Williams the lone man again for Elmhurst. Camilleri with a hard count. Millikin doesn't jump. Handoff to Williams, up the middle. He's got the first on Moore, lowers the shoulder, and just runs over a Millikin defender as he gets out across the 40-yard line.
TJ Sullivan, a senior defensive back, had him squared up, and Josh Williams just lowered the boom to move the sticks. Great run by the sophomore running back. 2:50 to go in the game.
10-yard pickup for the Blue Jays. Over 150 yards on the ground for Elmhurst, or for Williams, rather. And they're going to keep Williams in the backfield. 2 minutes, 35 seconds left. This is the Elmhurst ground show now as they're going to run this clock down. Camilleri hands to Williams. Williams sheds one tackle, changes directions across the 45, diving forward, taken down from Watson from behind.
Travis Gavea, we've mentioned his name a couple times today, not able to corral Williams in the backfield. Good vision to cut it back, make a play.
How about this kind of day for Josh Williams, closing in on 180 yards, Tony, on 28 carries.
And he's been the primary offensive weapon here with very little done through the air. So even more impressive effort by number 5. And he split a lot of time today.
I was going to say, he could easily have 40-plus carries right now if you – with Blue Jays featuring 3 backs today with Tubeck and Smith, too.
They've really been rotating series, so very impressive effort today by the youngster.
Handoff goes back to Williams. Williams out across the 50 and tripped up from behind, taken down by Michael Neal.
Michael Neal's had a nice little game at safety. He's just a freshman, Kevin, but he's been in on a lot of plays. He's forced a turnover.
Give Josh 8 more yards. Stays in bounds, clock rolling down to 1 minute, 30 seconds. Just a few more snaps all Elmhurst will have to take.
Well, solid afternoon for the Blue Jays as they're going to lock this one up.
And victory formation setting up for the Blue Jays as Williams going to drop way back. They'll surround Camilleri. Victory formation out of the pistol, though. Don't see that too often.
Losing some yardage on that one, but we're ticking under a minute now, and Millikin's not able to stop the clock. Looking ahead, Kevin, you've got to go to the north side of the city and take on North Park, a team that broke that long-standing streak in the CCIW this year, so a hungry North Park team at home. The week after, you'll get Carthage here at Langhorse Field for the home closer.
With Illinois Wesleyan still left on that schedule, too.
And that's certainly a huge game in Bloomington. Playoff implications on the line for Wesleyan.
The most dangerous team left on the schedule, clearly Illinois Wesleyan, who's 6-0 right now. The Blue Jays will take one more. They'll snap it one more time. Camilleri will take a knee, and that will do it for this contest as the Blue Jays snap their 5-game skid. But they come away with a nice victory today, 20-7. Pretty impressive game for Elmhurst, especially the defense, Tony.
Well, it's been nearly 2 months since they were able to notch a victory, and you had the bye week in there and only 4 home games, and really great to get it done here at Langhorse Field. Really blue-collar effort. They talk about the blue-collar mentality, and that showed up here today.
Take a look at the final numbers here for Elmhurst. 403 yards of total offense. They did eclipse that mark. 72 plays. Millikin, 65 carries, 65 plays, just 213 yards of offense. Elmhurst does a really nice job. On the ground, 50 carries, 293 for Elmhurst as they really did it with their ground offense. 10 of 22 through the air for 110 yards for the Blue Jays. Millikin finished up with 213 total on the total yards, including 97 only for the Big Blue. Once on the ground, 116 through the air, 15 first downs, just 6 in the second half.
And I think Dunning ended up with about 75 yards, a pretty good day at the office for the Elmhurst defense.
Talked about Josh Williams, the kind of day he had. Here's his final numbers. See what they look like. They are very, very impressive for the Elmhurst sophomore. How about 29 carries, 187 yards, and 1 touchdown? And he also had 2 catches for 38 yards. So over 200 yards of total offense for the Elmhurst sophomore. Joe Camilleri, 10 of 22, 2 interceptions, 110 yards, also threw for a touchdown. Sean Dunning, the Millikin feature back, bottled up 25 carries, just 76 yards, averaging just 3 per carry.
Great effort. And the defense was sound all around, forcing 3 turnovers. The safeties were great today, but Charlie Roberts, a big day, showing up 13 tackles. Recorded half a sack as well, so a big day by Charlie Roberts, the senior. Nice effort by Marvin Carr. We saw Giles and Ritter making some plays. Back in the win column.
So Elmhurst pulls away with a 20-7 victory. That will do it for our coverage of Elmhurst football today. Our thanks for watching. We've got plenty of more Elmhurst College action headed your way on Blue Jay TV. Next week, we've got Elmhurst College volleyball as the Blue Jays host Illinois Wesleyan. We're back in a couple weeks as the Blue Jays will host Carthage College out here at Langhorse Field. For my partner, Tony Minestra, this is Kevin Jude saying so long. Our thanks to our cameraman, Phil. Producer-director, Sue. This is Kevin Jude saying so long. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time on BlueJayTV.com.